Hello, everyone, and welcome to One World, One Blood Bowl number 71, Tears for Fears. There's been a lot going on in both Blood Bowl and in my life in the last few weeks since we discussed the big leak and the rule set, and all that we heard about all the new teams, all the new rules, all the new stars, everything that is going on in the world of Blood Bowl Season 3. I've been too busy. I don't just want to churn out content talking about some of the little holes in the rules that we all know are there now and we've all been talking about. I'm going to assume smarter people than me are going to fix those in a way that makes the rules playable, and that we're going to sail forwards in a fairly sane world. And until we get an official FAQ tying all of that up, which we think might be as late as May, that we will at least find informal solutions and live in a world of sane Blood Bowl, not one where people can dodge, do anything on a 2+, or you can always throw backwards if your name is Derek, or other little tiny things that people have found in the rules that I don't care about. What I do care about is lots of new teams. And I don't just want to say, oh, here are all the new teams, let's talk about them again. So I thought, what's a more interesting way of doing that? And what's more useful to both me, as someone that likes to play Blood Bowl, but isn't perhaps in a league, so isn't maybe playing every single week, and just to the world of people that seem to listen to this show, who both enjoy playing it online and going to tournaments and playing in leagues and painting stuff. So I thought it might be quite interesting to look at what we would do about tiering a tournament, because I like to go to tournaments, and then there's always a rule set with tiers and things, and I think, oh, okay, what the hell would I coach then, and why have they put them there, and what does this mean? So I thought we could both look at what the new teams are and understand the sort of new tierings that people seem to be coming up with by grabbing three people who I know from the world of Blood Bowl do a lot of rule set making for tournaments, and hence invent tiers and decide where they think things should be, and sort of come up with a fictitious rule set between us. So we're not picking on anyone's particular rule set. We're not pulling anything individually apart, though we may, in passing, mention one or two who cop a bit of fire. And just see what people are thinking about in terms of what goes where. And obviously, as we do that, we'll get to discuss the teams themselves. So I have three lovely guests with me, as always, on One World, One Blood Bowl. First of all, let me welcome back somewhat regular and my good friend Hargrim, just to my side. Say hello.
Everyone.
Very sexy red light look there, which is certainly doing it for me. Now
I
he
actually
is he is
blinded myself.
a man for hire in a Blood Bowl sense. He will make you a rule set if you show him the remotest bit of love. He will also play on your Euro Bowl team if you let him come and live in your country. So really, he is a man for all seasons. But he does create some interesting rule sets. He was already well ahead of the world in creating grid-based rule sets, which I'm sure we're going to cover in a second. And certainly he's responsible for things like Peer Bowl. Hargrim, what's your hot take in a single sentence on rule sets and tiering for season 3? What's your
I'm
headline?
going to be a bit controversial and say most rule sets are pretty shit.
Okay, I mean it's early days. We've only had about 20, but okay, that's a hot take. There's a starting position for discussion and love. Now he fell in love instantly, I would suggest, with the gentleman above me, new to the show but fiki. Say hello. Recommended
Hello.
recommended by my good friend Kalorn. He tells me you're a man that makes rule sets. Explain.
I love rule sets. I'm not good at roster making. Um, I don't really, but I like defining a meta, an environment to play in. And trying to define so I rule set theory a lot as opposed to roster theory a lot.
Interesting. So you can create a fantastic rule set, look at it, and then take something that's wrong.
Oh, I can make it bad really quickly.
Okay, good. Good. So we thought that might be interesting to add into the mix. The two of them instantly fell in love and started talking about third dimensional physics and how actually a modern grid needs to look at things through the fullness of time, not just how much gold and skills and things they get. And I said, no, there must be an end to this madness. And since I recruited someone who I thought would be a voice of sanity in the wilderness, the much loved and very popular streamer, rule set maker, tournament runner, and squirrel fancier, BB Nut. Welcome to One World, One Blood Bowl.
Thanks for having me, PC.
So you recently started taking over the entire of the Southwest, haven't you?
It feels like that. Was it between February and April? I'm either running or helping to run 5 events.
Right.
So yeah, I want to play in tournaments, and whenever we get to a month and it's like there's nothing I can get to, it's like, well, I phoned up lunch money. Do you want to run a tournament? And he goes, I want to do no admin till the day. And I go, cool, I'll do all the admin till the day and I get to play.
He is incredibly good on the day at just sitting in a corner making things work, isn't he?
He is.
And you
He
do
is,
need a
unless
wonderful
it's
array
tour
of
play.
people in this thing. Yeah, a tour player. He's not a fan.
No.
No.
You give him score and that man can do almost anything with it. You give him a tour play and lots of angry emails later, he might have it working.
I mean, in some ways, I do think it's very fitting because the Southwest, of course, we do all think of as being about 150 years ago. So not being together with the most sort of seemingly up-to-date way of running Blood Bowl does feel like it fits the Southwest that we all love. But yeah, no.
It makes me feel like I'm back in Cornwall. You know,
Yeah,
we've only just got
absolutely.
the internet last week.
But you sort of ousted the Bonehead podcast from running the Bonehead tournaments, haven't you?
They've taken a step back, and like Beachhead always had a Blood Bowl event.
Yeah.
And it was very much last minute. Like I heard some rumours that they were considering stepping back, but I spoke to Entoyment who run it, and they get, are they doing it? They're like, as far as we know, they're doing it. I was like, okay, so I didn't think anything of it. Then I saw the official announcement, we're not doing it. So I dropped a quick email. They'd already given away the Sunday tables.
Oh no.
To another event. So we can only do one day, unfortunately. But yeah, we've got some big plans for it. We're hoping to turn it into a team event because the Southwest lacks a team event. So that's kind of our goal.
I mean, I love team events. I love going to them. I think they're a good thing and a different way to play Blood Bowl. I've long said I think the UKTC should step away and say, I am the daddy, and all of you regions should have one, and then that should feed into me, and I'll be the king at the end of the year. And I think that would really interest people. If you could play in something local without having to go halfway across Britain. And then if you do well there, then perhaps, you go, okay, well, let's go to this big one at the end and see just how good we are. Yeah, cool. So lots of tournaments and hence a need for tournament rule sets. What's your hot take on, I'll come back to you, Fiki, for yours too. I forgot, so I will come there. What's your headline hot take on rule setting in Season 3?
Oh God, in Season 3, put your gold down, generally. Almost every team got cheaper. I'm still seeing events with like 1.15 million as the base, and I'm
You
like,
say that like it's a lot of money. How dare you?
It is for some teams. For some, like Zons look at that and go, "Awesome! I'll have everything I want." And then Chaos Dwarfs look at that and go, "Ooh, can I have a bit more, please, sir?"
So Poverty Bowl is here to stay.
But I think it's where the Matrix comes in, because like some teams you don't want to give many skills to, but you need to give money to. Some teams you want to give lots of skill, you want to give lots of money to, but not many skills. Okay,
well, it sounds like that's a level of understanding these teams I already don't have. So that's exactly why we're doing this evening. I feel I'm getting smarter already. Fiki, I said I'd come back to you for it. What's your hot take, your big headline on rule setting in Season 3?
I'm between the two opinions just expressed, right? There's where does everything fit? How do we tier it right? And I don't want to have to figure this out part, right? So we have no actionable data. Let's be honest. We have a lot of theory. So I know for what I'm running straight out of the box, it's like, we don't know. Let's just have some fun and show why everything is ridiculous. So
well,
I've left it really open.
I mean, you say that. I have several friends. Now, I actually was down to go to the Welsh Open.
Yeah.
I've had to pull out because it happens to coincide with my venerated mother's birthday. And she's declared that as that actual Saturday is her actual birthday, that there's a 3-line whip for the family to go to an event with her. So I've had to pull out. But as I was doing so, I noticed that several other people I knew were dropping from the list of the Welsh Open, which surprised me. I thought it was a nice big event, a good chance to play some Season 3 Blood Bowl. But they've gone with an incredibly flat rule set. Do we think that's part of that decision?
It made the decision for me.
Vicky, you're nodding away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making it anyway. So I've gone with as close to the book as possible, but giving people more than they should.
Yeah.
And Hargrim, you tend to also agree that this flat skilling of...
There's two reasons I would travel for a tournament. One, because I know it's going to be highly competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The rule set's going to be good and going to reflect the competitive nature. Or I'm going to have fun because I get to see people I don't see very often.
Well, you're going to Wales, so the fun one is ruled out.
I'm not going to the Welsh Open. I dropped off the reserves list because I have exams to write. But when they released the rule set, I just looked at it and went, "This isn't for me. There's just, no."
I have to
would
say, I
not
was
enjoy this.
feeling that before my mother came up as a convenient excuse. So, when we were talking about let's put a chest bowl rule set together, one of the things I said is I don't want it to be flat. I understand why things are doing that. And in some ways, I praise it. I think the NAFC is going to be very flat this year, and I do currently have a ticket for that. I say this year, I mean 2026. And certainly the Welsh Open is. Don't we need to get some data that is with a fairly flat set of rules?
But I think
and
that's
just see
their
where things
problem,
stand?
right? These are the majors. These are the large events. They can't afford. They can't afford to allow stuff that's stupid get through. So they've gone the opposite way.
Okay.
You know?
The thing for me is I only get a few weekends a year where I can
Yeah.
have the whole weekend away from the family,
Yeah.
away from the kids.
I'm
Especially,
very similar. Yeah.
yeah. So if I'm going away for a weekend, I need to know that I'm going to have fun that weekend. And I looked at that rule set and went, it's going to be a tier 1 fest. Some teams just look mental already because, like, Zons don't need a leg up. Let's just put it out there. Even if they're not the best team in the game anymore, they're still the top 3. They don't need the leg up. So, just, yeah, it doesn't float my boat. And I think I like finding that little nugget team. Like, the rule set with Chaos Dwarfs are actually really good. As an example, because they need quite a bit of help.
Okay, I mean, from my casual glance at Chaos Dwarves, I think they sort of look like they might be quite interesting in Season 3. But then every team seems like it's going to be bashing, so there's going to be a very bash meta. And maybe something with a lot of Iron Hard skin is going to be a good answer to that. I don't know. That's what I want to find out tonight. But yeah, certainly people seem to be voting with their feet a little bit and saying we already expect Season 3 to be tiered a bit. That's just what we're used to, and when we see it untiered, some people, maybe not even a majority, but I think it's fair to say some people are saying I'm not thinking that looks super fun. I've heard people say, well, I'm going to face out of 6 games, I'm going to face 4 Amazon teams. Why would that? Yeah. Why would that be fun? To which someone countered, well, you won't, because there'll be 4 Old World Alliance teams there, ready to kick all the Amazons' asses. And I suspect they might see quite a lot of those 2 teams in that rule set. Yeah.
Yeah. There was from the tour play that was set up for Welsh Open, there was some data because I'm in the Welsh WhatsApp. There was a list of of how many of each tier that had been taken, and it was, as BBNut predicted, very heavy tier 1.
I mean, you're always the other guy who's always going to play goblins because he just plays goblins and wants to have fun.
Yeah.
You're going to get some of those, but yeah, I mean,
it's the same. You could say the same for any competitive environment, right? If you look at the recent Euro Bowl rules, poverty bowl aside, or the rules, the Euro Bowl before that, or the Euro Bowl before that, not necessarily the World Cup. Every team, 6 of those players played 6 of 10 teams, right? The variation outside of that at top tier is minute, right? So if you're playing in a competitive environment, expect to see tier 1 and some tier 2 teams.
Absolutely, but of the 30 races available to us, 31, if for some reason the world is insane and we don't kill Slan, I don't expect, I'm not saying I want less than 5% for each of them, but I'm not sure I want more than 30% for any one of them either. I want some level of people thinking a variety of things can work here.
Like when we had 28 teams, we still had 10 who were better than everything else.
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
But the game is better if half the teams are viable.
100%.
Yeah, and that's what Whereas with the Welsh Open, it's Necro. It's going to be Necrozons, OWA, maybe some more.
But again, that's where you're building that's what you're trying to build your tournament pack to. Where do you want your game to be? Right? It's the complaint high-end ladder players have about tabletop. How do I put 7 skill rings on a player and play on the table? Right. So
yes, I mean, I went
where
recently.
Do you want your tournament to aim, right? So
I went recently
different teams are good at different places.
I went recently to a progression event, which seems to be very out of vogue and has been for 5 or 6 years, but they still do occasionally exist. And I found it really interesting. You started, I think tier 1 started with about 4 or 5 skills, up to about tier 4 that were maybe getting 6 skills at the start, including a secondary or a stack. And then there were 2 or 3 skills getting added in rounds 2 and 3. I thought that would have been really interesting, stacked over 6 rounds, with a smaller amount of progression, even more granular in where secondaries are allowed or stacks are allowed, etc., etc. Because different teams could plot, okay, I'm going to be a bit rubbish for game 1, but by game 2, my goodness, I'm going to be cooking. To be honest, 5 and 6, I'm not adding much, but I'm expected to be in a good position by then. So, there were just interesting ways to plot how each race would get through that.
My only experience of that was actually my sort of reintroduction to global Blood Bowl, right? It was Dornbirn. So that was a group of us realizing that there was Blood Bowl outside of the 6 of us that played it. And that's when we kicked off. So Dornbirn was that progression, different skills, day 1, day 2, day 3.
Yeah,
My first ever Blood Bowl tournament was still back when you'd play your first game of rookie team, and then you'd pick a skill when you found out your opponent for the second.
We played tournaments, but we weren't NAF. We weren't outside of Ireland, right? So
that was, but it was still, that's how it was back then. And then someone had this crazy idea: maybe we let the worst teams get extra skills after game 2. and now we're on Matrix thanks to Hargrim.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at Hargrim. He is genuinely about to start playing with a fidget spinner if we don't start talking about when we always use jumpers for goalposts. But we are moving forwards, and for Season 3, I don't think we're quite at what progression would look like yet for these teams. But it does seem we're already at a point where some people out there in the world of Blood Bowl, including me, and I think several of us, have looked at a rule set and thought, I want a bit more from it already than that. So people already want the best guesses put into place. They want something in place that looks like it might provide some balance, might provide some choice, and won't therefore be dominated by, what I would say Amazon's Necromantic and Old World Alliance are the 3 I expect to just be coached into the ground right now. With perhaps a smattering of goblins and Nurgle for those that always wanted to do that but thought they were rubbish.
I think Wood Elves were in the conversation as well. But
okay, Wood Elves, okay. We'll come to that. So I want to say, okay, if we all think that a little bit, and other tournament organisers are starting to too, why? What would that mean in terms of a rule set, and where would we put the teams within it? I thought that would be an interesting show, so that's what we're here to do. Now, I did say that we could pre-agree some stuff, and I thought that would be nice and simple, and then Hargrim started talking. So can you explain to me what we have pre-agreed and what Chest Bowl's rule set is going to look like that we're going to try and make in the next hour and a half?
So, because PC is an old man...
I am.
I have to find the message first, because I don't remember exactly what was said. Simple, easy rule set, easy to understand.
Yep.
So that pretty much anyone can get into it. That was the core premise.
Yeah.
So limited amount of tiering, limited amount of, as in like on one grid and then limited on the other grid. So you're getting maybe...
want to watch a half-an-hour YouTube on how to read the rule pack before I even think about what race I'm taking.
Simple, easy to understand.
Yep.
Star players can get in the bin because we're not considering that at all.
Yep.
So we don't need to make those considerations when we're doing the tiering tonight.
So we don't want 20 sub options for every team that affect skills and gold.
Don't remind me of Athens.
I'm not a huge fan of gold trading for SPPs for skills, and there are rule sets where I've quite enjoyed that a little bit, I have to say, but it seems very hard to get it right and not just make it really annoying. And then someone turn up with something and you go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you broke it and I didn't. That's right. Oh damn, I'm stupid. And that before I've even sat and rolled a dice. I am quite stupid, but I'd rather that showed on what I do on the pitch than before I turn up to the pitch to some degree. So thinking,
you rather it's like 2 hours. It's right. It's halfway through lunchtime. You go, oh, of course, right?
Yeah.
Turn 1.
But if it's because it was obvious I didn't see it, fine. Not because they've gone, oh yeah, but you didn't think if I do C and then B, and then I inverse it and eat cheese on Friday,
game, right? Min-maxing your team that's part of it.
It should be part of it, but it should be an available part of it to all. By which
it should be equally available.
The
intelligence
level to understand it should be set exactly at my level of intelligence, and people below that should have no chance at all. Okay, I think that's obviously what we're aiming for here. So, what sort of thing are we going to try and do? Well, how are we going to put the rule set out and say, come to Chest Bowl, here's, as well as some free dice, here's why you should be excited. There would be free dice. Or possibly those new little stunned markers that everyone's having made with the little thin aluminium discs. I do quite like those now.
Yeah.
So my first thought is there's a couple of things you have to take into account with the new season edition.
Yeah.
The first one being, and probably the trickiest one to navigate, is elite skills, because it's such a fundamental part of how you build your teams now for exhibition play.
Sorry, hang on. I should have said trigger warning, BB Jock, trigger warning. We're going to talk about elite skills. I would have a sit down, mate, maybe grab a whiskey. We love you. Everyone loves you. It's going to be all right. Sorry, Hargrim.
Yes. So the first consideration, and I had this chat with my co-organizer for Peer Bowl Hovering, who was also very nice to make a Google Sheet for me.
Lovely.
For tonight.
We will have a look at that at some point.
I'll share my screen whenever you tell me to. The first consideration was, how do you deal with elite skills? Do you put a cap on it? Do you make it cost extra skill points? And I stole a bit from Fiki, actually, and his Bleed Bowl rule set, and decided to run with a gold allowance for skills, and then follow how the rule book allocates TV increase for skills. So a primary skill will cost 20k, an elite primary will cost 30k. I think it's an elegant solution to handle the elite skill problem in how you deal with it in a rule set.
Okay.
Now,
so are we agreed that we need to deal with it within a rule set? Is that something that, as a tournament organizer, we need to do? Fiki?
I think it's something they've given us as a condition we can play with. And we don't.
Jimmy Fantastic, who is knows what he's talking about here, says, if you give people a knob to fiddle with, they will fiddle with that knob.
But it's a knob they've given us. This is it exactly, right? So we don't know how it impacts the game because we haven't had the knob before. So let's.
But as Hargrim says, in the rules, there's a very clear reading of it.
To some level.
Unlike Stu Backer, the mad tournament organizer that is not invited on this show specifically because the first tournament rule pack he wrote, elite skills were twice the price of non-elite primaries. And I went, well, I'm not having that.
It gives you two knobs, right? Because it gives you two dials to fiddle with. It gives you a cost potential. How do you cost them? And it also gives you, do you limit them or not?
Isn't this all a barrier to BB Jock enjoying Blood Bowl? And also to new players being able to understand
BB Jock has been to one of my tournaments. He played Nurgle. He doesn't like himself.
He doesn't like Blood Bowl much. I know that's true. Okay. Is it this new knob? Jimmy's point is not just to make some smutty joke about people fiddling with their knobs. It's that if you give a new knob to tournament organisers, they are going to want to mess with it and play with it. And that's going to mean just more shit rule sets.
Oh, but it's Jimmy, right? So
everything's
like
shit,
most rule sets anyway. Yeah. So,
you see, I'm kind of in the mindset where I kind of want to see what people do with it because I do like rule sets being a bit different. If every rule set was exactly the same, I think I'd get a bit bored in general.
Yeah.
So I don't mind some variation. Off my head, I don't know if I like the idea of it being based on gold. I think I like it just being. I'd rather there was a cap or there's no cap, because.
Right, that's definitely a TikTok cut right there. No cap.
Yeah. Partly because I'm just imagining this. I've now got this Zon roster where you've got you get 1400 because you need some elite skills, and they go, cool, we'll take 7 wrestle and make everyone miserable.
Well, I mean, they're doing one of those anyway, so yeah.
The second consideration I had for elite skills was actually keeping the cap, but slightly changing how the cap works. This was an idea that one of the Danish coaches, Volter, initially implemented in the first.
Does it have to be said like that? I want my name to be said like that. When people say, Volter? Yeah, when people say PurpleChest, they go, yes, his name is PurpleChest. Brilliant.
You need to add some LKs in the middle of your.
Yeah.
He designed a rule set where not only there was an elite skill cap per race or per skill point bracket, but the elite skill cap was set to each elite skill individually. So say you had a cap of 3 elite skills, you could take 3 block, 3 guard, 3 dodge in whatever combination you want. So you weren't limited to the maximum of 4.
Okay.
I find that very similar to previous attempts at stopping spam,
Yeah.
Right, where
Yeah.
you can't have more. Oh, you have 4 block in your team already. You can't have another one. I don't think that take on it achieves the objective of what they're trying to do with it. But I also don't think a limit of 4 globally achieves the objective of allowing most races to play.
Almost
So-
every single team
I need
looks
to-
at
I
4
need to
of each elite
highlight-
skill and goes barely an
Yeah.
inconvenience. Sure.
Yeah.
I need to highlight that this does not include innate skills. So if you're playing, say,
yeah.
But this is my problem with the knob.
Yeah.
I can see a tournament where you say 4 elite skills total added to any team. And then that's okay, but there's some rosters that really doesn't harm, and other rosters it completely negates. So then are you balancing that in how you're tiering everything else? Do you know what I mean? So if Amazons are limited to 4 total elite skills, they can kind of get away with that, and then have 1 or 2 non-elites, and they're sort of fine. They really haven't been harmed much. Other races are completely destroyed by it, and even allowing them
Lizards
6
are screwed.
non-elites isn't going to do much.
Lizards are probably done.
Okay.
Most chaos teams probably aren't great.
Yeah.
Elves probably can get away with it in that environment.
Wood elves being, I would argue, the most viable elves at the moment. They 4 elite skill. If you said you only have 4 elite skills total, would elves go sure?
I think any of the elves go sure because
Yeah.
everyone else can't catch them.
Well, the first thing they say is, "I'll take 4 dodge then." What else do I then take?
This is it,
I do worry for elves
Pack
with elite
wrestle.
skills because other than woodies, which do come with 4 inbuilt dodge still, they're down to 2 catchers with dodge, and obviously the 2 dancers have dodge. Dark elves get a tiny advantage with the witches having 2 dodge already on board. You can take wrestle on both, so if it was 4 elites, you could just throw 4 dodge at them, and they're not terrible. But I mean, that means 6 dodge at most on elves, 8 at most on woodies, and 4 at most on pro elves.
Pro elves aren't a real team anymore. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm
but
wondering
when
how the
you're-
hell
when
we're
you're
going to
talking,
tier them,
you're now-
other than
When
everyone.
you're now playing teams that have 4 block total or 2 block, 2 mighty blow, and no other skills, only having 4 or 6 dodge isn't the problem it was, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so because I do think elves are in a tough spot, but let's see how we're going to tier them. So, Hargrim, what was the decision we've taken about how many tiers we're having, and whether we're having elite skills limited or what?
So I'm going to share my screen now
Okay.
because it'll be a lot easier. So I've had this made for me. There's going to be 4 brackets
Right.
for TV and 4 brackets for skill. Oh, sorry, 5 brackets for skills
Okay.
at increasing at increments.
Right.
The elite skill cap, for sake of simplicity, we're
Yep.
going to keep it at 4 global.
Right. So I can only have 4 of all of the elites together
Yes.
to add to my starting roster.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we need to.
BB Jock just punches monitor.
Yeah, absolutely. We did say make sure you sat down, Jock. I knew this was coming. I think that kind of makes some sense to me. When it's 4 of each, it really isn't much of a limit, and there's sort of less problems to solve. So I'm quite interested in what this ends up looking like.
I also think we're playing. This is if I've never picked up a rule book before, and I'm presented with GW's example of the game.
There's a good chance that's how it's read.
So
Plus, I think with
Let's,
it being a knob people were fiddling with anyway, which I think is why it's come in. And one of the things they were trying to do was limit the spam of exactly these skills. So let's do that, and let's see what it leaves us with. Okay, so that's the grid we're going towards now. Alphabetically, if I turn to the big book I have here, we're going to use actual Games Workshop stuff we have paid money for. So we can't be demonetized. We're not monetized in the first place. That's the other reason why. But, it does make sure that we are even safer. Now, in the big book, the first team that comes up, I think is going to be a good one to benchmark any rule set, of course. It is Amazons. Now, looking at this, they seem to have quite a lot of fairly cheap pieces available, lots of good skill access. I think they're looking quite strong in Season 3. Do we agree?
Yeah.
I've got
got
someone on my
better,
YouTube
right?
telling me I'm an idiot for thinking they're strong, but yes, I think they're strong.
Yeah, I don't tend to listen to people on Reddit or Facebook or YouTube
I hate the
or
internet,
Twitch
so.
or Discord. So other than that, I'm very open-minded though. Fiki, the Amazons, are we agreeing they're strong?
Yeah.
They haven't got worse. If anything, they've got better, right? Because they've all got passing buffs.
Yeah.
They lost Dirty Player.
Yes. Hargrim?
They did, and hit and run isn't unique.
Yep.
But right, it's still there.
Complete
So no, they're still a very viable.
Now anyone
team.
can have it except wolves and slayers.
Yeah.
They're still a very, very viable team. They're still well deserved to be in tier 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're cheap.
I mean, in terms of actual nerfs, they did get a couple of very minor ones, didn't they? I think sort of more environmental nerfs. Dwarves, yes, lost a lot of tackle, but other teams gained a bit more tackle.
The meta has adjusted, but the team is just as good as it was, right?
Yeah.
The line I've been using is, until proven otherwise, I'm going to say they're the best team in the game. Once it's been proven they're not, I'll move on to AWA being the best team in the game.
But certainly no one else thinks no one else is not putting them up there as a contender as we are right now until we get some data in. Okay,
they're worse the top 3 team.
Right. So when we tier them, it gives us a really good benchmark to say what we've built here. Everyone else needs to try and be able to think, could I compete against that? Is that what we're trying to do by making sort of lots of teams viable? Is that our agreed starting point?
Yes, I'd say so.
Brilliant. Nice and simple then. Where's Amazon's going to go?
So, yeah.
I don't listen to anyone
they're
Ridge. I listen to me.
11-10 at best. Like 11-10 gives them everything they need.
Okay.
I mean, for Eurobo, obviously it was 10.08 for them. I think if you took
it was 1100 flat, but you could trade money for skills.
And they still were, because they're so cheap. They still get everything they wanted. It's pretty mental how.
I think they built for 10. They built perfect for 10.50 or thereabouts.
I mean, even the Blood Bowl 3 in season 2 had cut their money and their access to stuff for their world championships and their arenas, and they were still doing absolutely fine.
The real question, I suppose, in tiering comes down to how many elite skills do they need to be viable.
Okay. So what do we?
There
we are. There's an answer. What are we doing about Amazons? Where are we going to put them?
And whether you give them two primaries or 1 primary on top of that. So you're giving them 120 gold or 130 gold.
See, I've seen an event recently where Zons only had 4 skills, and they're the only team that only had 4 skills. And I actually looked at it for the first time ever. I don't think I'd want to play Zons in this tournament.
As long as I can put a skill on each of my blockers and each of my what's the other ones? The good ones.
Blitzers.
Yeah, as long as my blitzers
I still
and blockers
think they need 5 skills.
It's nice to have one either out on one of the line women or on the thrower. That's nice, but it's not a need to have.
If you give them 130 here, you're saying you can have 4 elite skills or 3 elite skills and 2 other. Which I think is a nice make a choice for them, right?
So 130, so we're pricing elite skills at 30, aren't we?
Elite primaries, anyway.
Elite primaries, yeah. So that would be. So really, it's 3 and 2.
3 and 2, or 4 and 10 wasted.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's an interesting level. Do we think that's a good level for Amazons to think?
I would just flat put them at 1120 or 120 gold. For skills,
I think one.
Then you're just telling them use 4 elites, right? They're not going to take wrestle. They're not going to take leader.
No, I think they would take 2 wrestle.
I don't know if I could have one block, 1 guard, and 3 wrestle.
Well, that's what you get.
Or 2 wrestle, a leader. 3 wrestle, there's things I can do with 3 normals that might not make me want 2 more block.
Yeah.
Particularly as I think one of the ways they got a slight buff was break tackle on the blockers. Who then I don't think have to be blockers. I think if you're strength 4 and you can dodge into a normal cage on a 4 and you have dodge, so you're 75% to get there.
Myself,
but crazy. So I think you might run with 1 with block and 1 with break tackle, and it's a cheaper skill and going to be super effective.
I'm already thinking that whenever Blood Bowl 3 upgrades to Blood Bowl Warhammer, one of the first teams I'm going to do is Zons, try and get a blocker strength 5. And then go break tackle and just go on, cage up.
I mean, I also want to experiment with, a humble storm vermin with break tackle, because then I need to add a reroll to get it in as effectively as a gutter used to. But that's all I need to add, and then when I get there, instead of being a strength 2, I'm strength 3, and I have block, and I have strip ball. So once I've put break tackle on him, he's an incredible ball hawk, and then I've still got 2 gutters to sweep up. So I'm not sure Skaven are as dead as people say as well. But anyway, so Amazons, we're going to put them where, Hargrim? Let me pull you up front and centre, show me exactly what we think, and let's see if everyone can agree on it.
So
you're saying the team
11...
gold, they get 11-10 to build. Anything they notably can or can't have for that?
It gives you, if I'm remembering correctly, it gives them 13 players, two, 3 rerolls, and an Apo. The build variance isn't really there. It gives them exactly what they need to be at a competitive level where they're not breaking the meta. Where you really need to adjust with Zons is the amount of skill money or skill points you're giving them. Just too many, they become too good. Too few, they become not viable. The sweet spot is usually between 5 skills. Well, usually around 5 skills. 6 might be cutting it a bit too much.
So here they could have 6, but with no elites. Or they could have 4 elites, and it's 30 and 20. They can do their own maths
some other
between.
form of build variance in there.
Okay, so that feels like the Amazons will be reasonable, but not smotheringly overpowered. At most, they're either going to have not ideal skills, or there's going to be some weak areas that aren't as skilled. There's some things you can attack there, but they've still got some good tools. Okay, I understand. That seems a good starting point. Let us move to another team, because there's plenty to talk about. Let's talk about the next alphabetically, which is the lovely Black Orcs. Now, Black Orcs, I quite liked them in Season 2, but they were very shit at Blood Bowl. That's changed for the better. I mean, come on, they were. I think we all know that, don't we?
They were pretty terrible.
You talk to someone who loved playing OWA.
Yeah, also very shit at Blood Bowl. I mean, but it's fine to be shit at Blood Bowl.
You fell in love with them, right?
Yeah, sure.
So shit.
Great build, lovely models.
I don't know if I love them anymore.
They're
good now.
I got half a tune out of them. I went to an event with them and just killed everything, which was quite fun. Didn't feel much like Blood Bowl, but it was interesting. But they're now, I hear they're a lot better. Why are they better, BB Nut? What's boosting them up?
Their troll hasn't got loner anymore.
That sounds very good.
And a lot of teams lost access to fouling, and they didn't.
Right. So they've still got bribery and corruption. They've got a more reliable troll.
Yeah.
Basically, they're doing all the things they did ever so slightly better.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I'm not talking about leagues, but in leagues because they should skill up quicker now because they get free. They get free star player points from casualties and then 2 from touchdowns. But
yeah, and also it's the D6 MVP, isn't it? Where you choose 6 players and one of them gets the MVP. Yeah. So basically, your Black Orcs are going to be skilling if that's what you choose.
Yeah, but in NAF, I'd say it's mostly the trolls actually now. I don't want to say reliable because it's still a troll, but it's not. Yes, I passed stupidity. Why did you double skull again?
I mean, they are still really stupid. It's just you can now use a reroll on them without having to worry about loner. Because they've got basically the same trolls that goblins got, didn't they? Okay, so Black Orcs still not going to be great at Blood Bowl, but they have a notable small buff there, and we think comparative to some of the other teams also got a kind of a buff as well.
They're one of the interesting teams here, though, because of the Blood Bowl arena season where Black Orcs were everywhere, because they got all the money. But it's a kind sir talks about this a lot, so I did some roster building, and he is kind of right. They really struggle with more money. There's they don't need just a bit more money quite often. They need a lot more money if you want to do anything other than just the standard 12, maybe 13 players, Apo and 2 or 3 rerolls. Yeah. Trying to fit the star player in when they got our star player access was actually quite difficult, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would be very easy to just give them another 50k and go nuts on star players, but they're not. It adds up quickly with them.
I had some luck with Fungus.
You still lose 2 blorks, right? Essentially,
I had some luck with Fungus because, of course, he's quite cheap.
Fungus being the exception.
But people pushing Varag in, I mean, great as he is with Black Orcs, that's what I did at a tournament, and he was incredibly effective. In the Blood Bowl 3 arena, I thought you really had to cut your throat to do it.
You did.
Okay, so
Black Orcs are. If you're going to star player, you need to give them loads of money.
Yeah.
And they don't need so much if you're not.
No, I mean, I preferred them when I see them sort of built, I mean, not as Mr. Page did in the Blood Bowl 3 World Championships, which was with just Mighty Blow on every Black Orc. Then one of them was stacked with block. And then he had the Troll, but only Goblins to 11, but still put a dirty player on one of them. And then rolled with a single bribe and 4 rerolls. I don't love that build. I think that's a little extreme in one direction, but I do think that Black Orcs need to lean into what they do well, which is remove things.
Yeah.
And I do like a biased ref, even though it got a slight nerf in the season 3. And I do like bribes on them too. Where are we going to put them in our lovely rule set, Hargrim? How are we feeling about Black Orcs in season 3?
So Black
Slightly
Orcs
beefed,
are one of the
but
weird ones.
they were down in, say, tier 4, weren't they? Struggling to be much more better than a stunty.
Yeah. I think they've gotten slightly better with the changes to fouling.
Right.
So the knob we need to twist on for them is skill money, not team value. I think 1150, they get everything they want. They get all 6 Black Orcs, the Trolls, 13 players, 2-3 rerolls, I think. I think 1150 is just fine for them.
Okay.
So that's where I put them in.
Okay.
Now, for skills, because they have, if I'm not mistaken, devious access on the Goblin Bruisers.
They do.
Yeah. I think we need to be careful with how much money we give them. They're still not a great team, but I think between 160 and 180 is probably what they want.
Okay.
If you look in old money, they were getting, what, 8 skills?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Which were in nearly every situation in today's money elite. And that would put them at 240. And that's crazy money because suddenly it's 12 skills. Right? So
at 180,
yeah,
we're talking
them,
we're talking that's 6 elite skills, isn't it?
6 elite skills. It's 4 and 3. It's
This is one of the teams
yeah.
where elite skills, the elite skill tax just makes me go question why.
Yes.
Because
The thing
everything
is,
you want to give them,
you can't have more than 4 elite skills anyways. So that's
so it's 120. Yeah. So how many skills are you giving them? So that's 7 skills is 180, and the option to go lower and hurt themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 180 for them is probably the sweet spot, because it gives you it allows you to play into the fouling game that the Black Orcs so desperately need to play into.
I mean, you might do 4 and 3, but you might also just take 4 elites, and then you might take a secondary, for example, on a goblin.
Yeah.
To get yourself a sure hands.
Well, you might also be going 50k for a block troll, because he's workable.
Take pro, really. Pro's a good secondary, and now that it's cheaper than block, I think it's a nice thing to put on pieces. Okay, I mean, it sounds like we're being quite harsh to Black Orcs. They're going to be. I mean, when I did a nice run with them in the arena on Blood Bowl 3, I confess I decided I'd mix it up. So I didn't think I'd go maxing the kill. I did 2 Mighty Blow Black Orcs, 2 block, and 2 guard. And beyond those skills, I'm struggling to think what I want to put on them. They've already got Brawler, they've already got Grab. I mean, where else would they go? Stand firm?
Be a dirty player. Oh, on the Black Orcs, yeah. A Juggernaut one?
Juggernaut's interesting.
On a move 4 piece?
Well, the big downside to Black
Orcs
Lumbernaut is trying to score.
Frenzy?
So sometimes just being able to push that one square return. Can be helpful.
1 square return. That's okay.
With the chain effects to Juggernaut, they already have Grab, right? So they're cancelling sidestep. So suddenly they're Juggernaut and they're cancelling stand firm, and your entire chain push is very interesting.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't hate Frenzy on the team because you've got so much Grab, but again, you just don't have the pace.
This is showing the problem with any rule set design.
Yes.
Is depending on how you're going to allocate skills.
Well, I'm comparing this to how am I building these Black Orcs to take on the Amazon team, which is coming at me with 2 blocks, 2 wrestles, and I don't know, a tackle or something that isn't elite. Maybe a break. You're going
tackle. 180.
So how am I taking that on with these Black Orcs? So I'm getting my 6 Black Orcs, which I can put 4 elites on, and then I've got 3 non-elites.
Going heavy on the fouling with your goblins, right?
A couple of DPs.
Or sneaky is option again, lone fowler.
Or perhaps 1 DP and a sure hands, 2 naked Black Orcs.
Or troll, right?
It feels like I'm a little light, but okay. At least I'm not facing having exactly the same skills as them. I do have something more. I get it. I'm prepared to move on. Are we all happy with where we're landing here? We are landing them with 1150 money, so they can build a reasonably solid team, and enough money for the skills that they can have the 4 elites. We're maxing them out as 3 other skills on top. giving them 7 skills, more if they trade some of those blocks or guards or mighty blows down, which they shouldn't unless they're complete idiots. They don't even get a stack. I still think that's a little tight on them, but okay, I'm prepared to move on. After Black Orcs, of course, we come to... as we turn the real actual page, we come to the brand new Bretonnians that none of us know anything about. Excellent. Let's double speculate wildly about where Bretonnians should be in a future we don't know and can't live in yet.
I've played 2 games with them.
There we are. There we have someone with knowledge.
We have an expert.
We'll start with everyone else's opinion first. Therefore, I think they're not as good as some of the people that thought they were going to dominate Blood Bowl. But I also think some of the doomsayers are wrong. I think they're going to arrive solidly meh.
They're the new OWA, in my opinion.
Okay,
they're about that level, in my opinion.
As OWA were, or as they are now.
No.
Oh, okay. They're the new old OWA, not the new OWA.
Or you could also say they're the new knobs, which is obviously funny because of the history of nobility coming from the old Bretonnian roster.
Poor plasmoid.
They're kind of that tier 4 out of 5 team, honestly. And I'm planning to take them to the first few tournaments I'm going to in BB 2025 because I was so hyped for them. My friend did a really awesome job painting the team, and the rule set is the rules are so bad, but I don't care.
How can a team with that much wrestle be that bad?
Because there's nothing to give the players. That's the problem. So there's one rule set I'm looking at them for. I get 9 skills. So once you've gone your 2 guard, because you have to go 2 guard on the knights, that's unnegotiable really. And once you've gone the 2 dodge on the runners, what do you take? They only have primary access, so you take 1 tackle, you take a frenzy, maybe a strip ball. They just
okay.
They're not elves, right? They don't have move 9. They're not standing up at the every turn and still moving 5 squares away.
Yeah. They're an elf. I said the way from playing them, it feels like they're an elf team without any of the elf skills, because they're all strength 3. Yes, they could. Yes, they've got Dauntless.
That's how I've always felt about Dauntless.
The skill you never want to rely on. Like how many dwarf coaches line up? Right, I'm going to put enough assists so if I fail, at least it's 1D. But I'm not. But even so, quite often the Slayer will blitz with enough assists to get 2 dice, even if Dauntless doesn't work. They just needed the runners and so the catchers and the throwers to have a skill other than Dauntless, and I think they could have been a fun, interesting team. But
notes.
Strog, but yes, as Jimmy has said, I've been playing with Strog with them, and that all of a sudden,
as well as Dauntless, one has catch and nerves of steel.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
And the other one has pass and nerves of steel. So
I can pass the ball and catch the ball in tackle zones.
Oh, with your passing 3+ and your agility 3+.
Yeah. So I can pass the ball when I'm fucked, and then
on
a
1 in 9
when I'm fucked.
On a 1 in 9.
And then I can fail the dodge.
But then you can Dauntless your way out.
They're a league team, right? They're a league team.
Yeah.
They look wonderful. Those models look great.
Oh, I love the theme of the team, and I'm hoping they get the same treatment OWA and Nobility get in 2029 or 2030.
What, they've become playable? Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's bleak. Hargrim, are we bleak about how we're tiering these things? Remember, they need to be able to compete with a reasonably solid Amazon team.
They're probably fine. It's not going to be the most competitive team because the way that they're supposed to be played is very controlling, but in a style we haven't really seen before because of the mass wrestle.
Controlling from the floor.
Yeah, put things on floor, never bad idea, even if you're not getting the armor roll, because you're limiting your opponent's movement, and limiting movement is usually quite a good thing.
Yeah.
But they just don't really have the tools to deal with much else.
I mean, the problem when I look at it's not even the pricing. The pricing doesn't seem too terrible.
Oh, they are dirt cheap. You can get almost everything you want for minimal money.
The Grail Knights seem useful. The throwers seem not very useful. The catchers seem like you're probably going to have them just to have something that isn't just wrestling on the floor all the time, but don't seem that brilliant either. And you sort of think, okay, so how am I dealing with anything? How do I catch pace? How do I deal with strength? How can I deal with agility teams? And I'm not sure Wrestle, great as it can be defensively in some ways, and offensively against mass blodge, I can see they might do all right against Amazons, for example. But everything's just going to stand back up again.
Yeah, if the Grail Knights were strength 4, like they are in the lore, like they are in Warhammer Fantasy, as it used to be World, I think, and maybe they're 20k more loose Dauntless, I think the team could work very well with that big, strong blitzer being that, like the Zom blocker, quite often when they're just blitzing by themselves, they can make the gap and then everyone else kind of goes into
and
the
gap. Norse Ulf.
Yeah, and the Norse Ulf. I think they could have been, but I can imagine they didn't want another. Yeah, I can imagine they didn't want another human team with 2 strength 4 players.
Exactly. Yes.
And then
So instead, we're left with a team with no massive strengths.
And the 2 players that need to do the blitzing are also need to take guard, so they have to assist the blitz. So they're not then can't help the next blitz, and it just.
And it's the same with the dwarf problem, isn't it? You can't therefore also have mighty blow on the player that needs to blitz because that player needs to have guard. And that player needs to be mobile.
The problem for me and Bretonia is that they lack a very clear identity. Okay. It's just they're a bit all over the place. What's going on?
Like, as people say, almost... the old Bretonians, that used to be the broken Galette build, Beaugalette, or Beaugalant was the Beaugalanti.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't afford him or when he got banned, Dolfar was the poor man's bow. And they were both obviously, not as good as, for example, Jordell. But
what are the constraints of this rule?
Is that what we're going to have now? Is we're going to have a wall of wrestle trying to keep things away from the star you've bought to carry your ball?
Yeah, 100%. They're a star player caddy. Now.
Without star players, for example, in this rule set, you can give them everything and they're just not going to be competitive, right?
Okay, so let's give them everything and try and make them competitive. Hargrim, that's the mission. We agree that they are absolutely useless. No one should be coaching them except in a league for fun because the figures are nice. Without a star, which we're not allowing, they're useless. Make them competitive with Amazons for me, sir.
I'm going to put them at 1150 because their roster is actually quite cheap. And any more money is just like, what do I spend it on?
A deep bench that you can foul things with.
Just before we started PC, I was talking about I actually made a roster with a chef because there's a tournament where they're not allowed star players. I'm like, well, what else do I spend the money on? So I just messed around. Like, what happens if I had a chef in? And you can still basically get an entire 13-man roster in an Apo. And only one reroll at that stage, unfortunately. But
lovely.
They're
but
so cheap.
You're going to chef yourself some more, so
yeah, hopefully. Oh God, if you don't, you're looking pretty rough.
Okay, so we're going to give them 1150 so they can build. And how many skills do we think they need?
I'm very much in two worlds between giving them 180 so you can get the skills on the positionals you want, and then you have some squire skills where you want them. For example, you take a tackle, you take a frenzy, and then you're fine after you've given your runners dodge.
So basically, if I can turn a few of my linemen into actual useful positional pieces, I might have a team worth playing.
Yeah.
I mean, a Rackle piece, a Renzi piece. There's no way of putting Wrestle and Frenzy together. That sounds cool.
There are 7/8 skill team, right? So
Fressel's better. Okay. So a 7/8. Okay, so if we give them 180, they're going to take. They perhaps don't need that many elites, do they?
You give them two dodge.
Two dodge. Yeah.
Two guard. That's your elites. And then you have some money left over.
Then you have three left.
Yeah.
So 2 guard on your Grail, 2 dodge on your catchers. That we're saying in our pricing is 120. That would give them another 60. So they've got 3 other things they can put on. So as you said, maybe a wrestle, a kick, a pro, a frenzy. There are some interesting things you could add to a wrestle piece that, tackle, not wrestle, of course, that would make them sort of useful. Okay, I can see that I've got some toys there. And people will enjoy painting them, so it doesn't matter what we give them. Someone will bring them to chessboard.
Yeah. It also feels like an addition late because obviously they'd be perfect for have a dirty. Even if it's not that thematic, they'd be perfect to have dirty player. But no, they had to make the devious skill tree, and
yes,
like they can roll
fill
into
it with
being
absolute
really shit.
chod.
Yeah, they can go nine skills and roll into being bad, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be that frightened of you putting them up to 200 for the skills. I'm really not. But so many people are saying, oh, they're going to be great, that perhaps we should be a little cautious. Now, here's one of my picks coming next out of the hat is Chaos Chosen. My pick for people are talking it down, and I'm not sure they're right. I think Chaos Chosen have always been stronger than people think. I think they are secretly slept on as quite a good team, and I think most of the changes actually helped them. Now,
I think Chaos Chosen are a good team when they have access to a stack.
I think as long as you can put a skill on each of your Chaos Warriors and maybe 3 or 4 on the Beastman, ideally one of them as a stack, then yes, I think you can get a tune out of Chaos. What people forget is just how good the Chaos Warriors are at everything in Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, they can pick up the ball, they can do all sorts, they can dodge, they can move around. They can take a hit and they can give a hit, and they're slow, but they're not super slow. And the Beastman, of course, it means you don't need assists. You've got strength for blitzing from absolutely every piece on your side. I think people underestimate all of that. I think the Beastman got notably better with Thick Skull. Losing those is always how Chaos teams get in trouble.
And cheaper.
And they got cheaper. I think they're doing well. They get now a choice of 3 big guys, so they can take the Ogre and ignore the other 2. Or take the Troll if they're struggling to afford the Ogre. And if they take a Minotaur, we can just point and laugh at them. So, lots of people are still thinking these are a shit team that should be down with Black Orcs. I'm not sure I agree. What do the Brains Trust think of Chaos Chosen in Season 3?
Armbar OP.
Yeah, Armbar is OP.
Obviously, Armbar is OP.
Yeah.
Someone had to have it because they just want it out there and no one's ever going to take it. So they had to put it somewhere. There's worse places for it to land than Chaos Warriors.
There's got to be games where it makes your day, right?
Yeah. Hargrim, come in on this one first.
I don't really know how to feel about Chosen in this edition. Because this elite skill tax hurts them quite a bit. It does allow for some new interesting builds, however, if you give them enough skill money. But like 2 block, 2 guard warriors, everything else, you might take a wrestle goat, a tackle goat, a sure hands goat. I think where they might struggle the most is with money, because if I'm not mistaken, the warriors didn't go up in price. I think they might struggle the most with gold for TV. Because their players are quite expensive.
I mean, the Beastman got a bit cheaper. What I have always missed is that people build Chaos just as kill things. And I famously, not famously, but on Fumble, I had a fairly well-known team that got to sort of 600-700 games played. And never was always about killing. It always did a little bit of balling skills as well, took a few of the mutations, just tried to build something that had more of a hybrid feel to it. Which I think Chaos can do. It's always interested me that no one's ever said, for example, elite skill 30, normal primary 20, but your first 2 mutations 10. As long as they're different to each other. So you haven't suddenly got 2 claws on the team, but you might have a claw and a big hand, or an extra arms and a big hand, or 2 heads and a claw. And that just, I think it adds a flavour that we don't often see enough in Chaos teams.
Allow a stack. Allow a stack if you're going to have a mutation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think claws comes a bit more interesting for this edition. Where if the elite tax is you can only have 4 elite skills, claws all of a sudden, which was always kind of the, I don't want to say it's the poor relative to Mighty Blow, but if you want to have one of them, you want Mighty Blow over claws first. That's why one's an elite skill, one isn't. But I think claws now, if you have been capped on elite skills, having a claws beastman or something wouldn't be a bad idea because there's going to be most of the matchups are probably going to be armor 9+ or above, because one of the elf teams died, one of the elf teams looks a bit mare, and we don't know about Skaven yet. But
also the ability to just really target removing one of those elite skill pieces. With a claw, perhaps followed up with a foul, might be a useful game style for some people.
Yeah. And worst case scenario, even if you're just getting stuns from it, a stun's pretty good. It's not horrendous.
Particularly if we're thinking that that's the sort of equity we're used to having on the field in terms of your basic skills is going to be reduced because of less positionals and just harder to get those elite skills. Then everything you stun that is of great value is just, it's more useful in the rest of the game. There's less things that are good up and able to deal with what you're doing. Okay, so Chaos, I think we kind of agree they're not brilliant. But they didn't take a step backwards, and actually there is some quality there. We need to make sure they don't get too much, but at the same time, they are hurt a bit by a max of 4 elites. So, what are we thinking, Hargrim? How are we gonna place Chaos?
My first thought for skills is 180, because you get your 4 elite skills, and then everything else is cream on top in air quotes because it's still chosen. They definitely need the skills, but it definitely allows for some variance in how you decide to approach building your roster. Like, do you lean into the armbar part on the warriors and build maybe a prehensile tail to sort of synergize with that and use them as control pieces, or do you want to build them more standard, what we've seen over the past 5 years with 2020 with block and guard? What do you do with the Beastmen? I think 180 is probably the sweet spot for them.
Okay.
Any more is too much. Any less is too little.
So there I can put my 4 elites on my 4 Chaos Warriors, presumably
and have 3 skills left
2
over.
block, 2 guard, and then I've got 3 skills to put out into my Beastmen.
Yeah.
And I can afford a big guy. But
that's the next part. I would probably put them at 1170 TV because it gives you some wiggle room to get the toys you want.
Can I have a Mino?
And play with build variants.
Because, I mean, ideally I probably want an Ogre. I don't mind sometimes thinking I'll go short and get a Troll if I get something for it. But I think there's people who want to play Chaos and want to put a Mino on. So can I have 11 and a Mino? Do I get a Mino and something on the bench?
Cow goes moo.
Then I think we're all fine. Are we all fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so a nice quick one. Chaos Chosen we are putting in at 1170 so they can get the cow. 1180 so they get a decent variety of skills. And we think that, actually, they're not too badly off. I think that might be a reasonable pick if you love your Chaos. Now, I have some bad news for the world, which is Chaos Dwarves, which are back, baby, in Season 3. Oh, yes! Because Dwarves are dead, and because Break Tackle is good again, Chaos Dwarves, particularly with their Ironhard skin and their ability to maybe not all get banged out, I think are going to be a big force. Unless you do what we're doing and limit their access to elite skills, in which case they're probably completely screwed. So, if you want to coach Chaos Dwarves, don't bring them to Chess Bowl. Look for a tournament where elite skills are not capped. Join BB Jock's army up in the hills. Not the other one. That's the one where Shirokov and Plasmoid are still playing with their old Bretonians and Simians and Slan and all the other dead teams. Don't join that army. Join the BB Jock anti-elite skills army and say that your chorfs need to be able to have 6 guards, or at least 4 guards and 2 blocks, which will make them good. But in this rule set, they might be a bit shit. I'm right, aren't I? Fiki, there's some nodding.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be shit, right?
Yeah.
Chaos Dwarfs do kind of need 4 guard, 3 block, is what I've been running them at tournaments, unfortunately. So yeah, if you just cap it at 4 elite skills, they're pretty sad.
Yeah. So it's always fun until something gets hurt, and what's got hurt is the Chaos Dwarves, isn't it?
Because they don't build brilliantly. They don't variant brilliantly.
No.
Right. Your first 8 skills are known.
Yeah, and the main thing comes down to, do you have a Mino or have you gone for a few more players? And that's basically your only real choice in the roster.
Yeah, so you're going to need to put guard on your Chaos Dwarf blockers. You've only got 4 of them. They have Ironhard skin. You want probably guard on them. Maybe a bit of MB. But certainly you want one of those elite skills on there, don't you?
I have, yeah. I mean, I have seen people who've gone 2 guard on the blockers and 2 guard on the Flamesmiths, because the Flamesmiths were slightly more mobile.
Yeah.
And then they can buddy up with the non-guard blocker, and the non-guard blocker does the blocking, and they do the assisting.
Because they're move 5. Yeah.
But that's that's about as exciting as a variance as it gets. Oh, I went for guard on my Flamesmiths.
But then, of course, you've got 2 Bull Centaurs.
Hit and run stab goblins, though.
Great, important pieces, Bull Centaurs, but that means you can't put block or guard on them.
Yeah.
Which are what people want on their Bull Centaurs, really. I mean, I like Break Tackle on them, always did, and Break Tackle is back, baby. So maybe Break Tackle on them is the option. But it's still not exciting, is it? And certainly I'd never have 2 Break Tackle Bulls.
With the Hobgoblins
Hargrim,
losing
how are we
general
saving
access,
them? Yeah.
I think there's some wiggle room to play with the Bull Centaurs now. Instead of just, well, they have to take block. Like you said, Break Tackle is an interesting choice. Sure Hands on one of the Bulls is an interesting choice as well.
I mean, is this interesting as in terrible? Or interesting as in you genuinely think that's a good build? I've heard it
I'm not
used
saying
both
it's
ways.
good. I'm saying it's an option.
We're forcing that option.
I think it'd be good in a league, but
For your fourth choice skill.
yeah.
I mean, I do think we are screwing Chaos Dwarves with this ruling of ours on elite skills.
But
So
this rule set.
every rule set screws something.
There's no rule exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's not your day, Chorf lovers. I'm sorry. Hargrim, how are we saving them?
Turning up to chess bowl, love Chorf.
Yeah, absolutely. How are we saving them?
The problem is that they're still rather expensive, so we need to give them the money they need to build a roster.
So, yeah, we want them to have all 6 of their little dwarves, we want them to have a cow, and we want them to have 2 bull centaurs, and we want them to have enough hobgoblins. They've got, say, a bench of at least 1.
Yeah.
And if they've taken stabbers, that's their problem.
Even Jock is like so anti-elite skills. He's actually saying let's ban elite skills, not bin Chaos Dwarfs. He hates bash teams. Even he is here championing Chaos Dwarfs right now.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they're in a good position to take advantage of Season 3, except for elite skill taxes, which is really, really desperately bad for them.
You could give them a star player and let them have Zard, right? So
it's one of my goals. It's one of my goals for next year is to get my Chaos Dwarf rating over 200. Only just started them recently, but I will be picking and choosing my tournaments. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, go to the ones Jock's going to, where they're not capping elite skills much, and I think you'll be fine. I think they'll do very well. So, what money are we going to give them, Hargrim?
I'm torn between 180 and 200.
Okay.
Being very generous to Chaos Dwarfs because they
generally might need to be 200.
Yeah. Do we think it matters much once we've given them only 4 elites?
10 skills. Even if they take 10 non-elite skills, they're not going to be good.
Yeah, that's my concern for them.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 guard because I just don't think I can afford any mighty blow if I've only got 4 elite skills.
The thing that's blown my mind is they're taking general away from the hobgoblins. That just
that does make it. Although you can secure the board, so I guess you've got that.
But if you gave them 10 skills, at least you go, okay, we take a couple of wrestle ones. They might be able to do something in elite skill meta, but no, they can just take fouling skills or shadowing.
I mean, that's the other thing. You could arm yourself up with 2 or 3 dirty players. And go for most casualties. Go for most casualties award.
Your sure hands hobgoblins gone.
They can't afford enough bench to be a fouling team. Unfortunately, you're struggling to get 12 players.
Okay, so we're going to allow them to have some skills they'll never use on players that aren't very good, to make up for the fact that for the max of 4 elite, I think screws Chaos Dwarves as much as just about anyone. Let's move on from the sad news. Now, Chaos Renegades, they don't need skills that are all the same. They must be fine with this. Did they get a notable boost in Season 3? How's the Chaos Renegade roster looking to us?
The thrower got sure hands.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The elf got cheaper?
Yep.
Yeah, so rather than safe pair of hands, which was the best skill in the game, of course.
It was. And they've still got access to 4 big guys, of which they can take any 3. A variety of other little bits and bobs, which, again, don't perhaps all need block, mighty blow, or guard, or dodge. There may be some other things we can put on them there. So how are we feeling about Renegades in Season 3? Where would they be hitting in our tiering?
They've always, to me, been a team that once they have 4 what we call elite skills, they can go either way. You can put some more block or whatever, or you can start making players that do different jobs, right?
I mean, presumably we're going to want maybe Jugs on one of our big guys.
Jugs on your Roger or Minotaur, depending on your flavor.
Probably a dodge on the Elf. I can see a block or 2 anywhere on the team being useful, and either a mighty blow or a guard on one of the big guys I could see, or a guard on the Orc. So I can see where the 4 big ones go. Outside of that, does it matter much how much else we give them as long as they can build a reasonable roster?
They don't really need much anymore is the thing.
Yeah.
Because
a couple of wrestle linos.
You can't really just spam a couple of skills on the lineman to take a block or 2. I think probably what you'd end up doing is you spend Juggernaut on the Rat Ogre or the Minnow, depending on what flavor you want.
Mm-hmm.
Guard up the 2 other big guys, dodge on your Elf. That's 3 out of 4 elite skills. Where do you put the last one? Wrestle Clan Rat? Sure. Block lineman? Sure. Do you take a fouling goblin?
I mean, I always think at least 1 block lineman is quite nice for sort of line of scrimmage, just things like that, for doing a nice little safe move first occasionally, and then maybe a wrestle one for the same reason. I can just see some nice skills being on there, but I mean, I think they didn't get much help in Season 3. They didn't get harmed much either, unlike perhaps some of the other hybrid teams which had more changes. So how are we seeing that applied to how
fight goblin is always nice, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is now, you could put bullseye on them, I suppose, and all of that nonsense, but I'm just not sure how many people are actually going to do that. And you've got very limited ammunition on your renegade team. So how are we gonna pop these in?
I would probably stick them at around 1150 value.
Okay.
That seems reasonable to me. You get your 3 big guys, you get the positionals you want, you get like 12 players or so. Again, the knob that needs adjusting the most is skills for them, and I think 160 is probably fine. You get your 4 elites, and then 2 extra skills where you can play around with where you put those extra skills.
I don't know. We're giving Chaos Dwarfs 200. I feel they need 180.
Yeah, this does feel a little mean to Renegades. Remember, we're trying to put them up against an Amazon team that has, at least 4
180 is probably reasonable because it allows you to take the Wrestle Clan Rat and
it gives you your 4 elites and your 3 extra, right? Which is
a Juggernaut, a Wrestle, and a Dealer's Choice.
Yeah.
We might see a
with
DP.
The changes,
we might
is
see
there
a
room
kick.
for a leader in there?
What?
There's no room for a leader in there, is there?
Leader's an elite skill.
That leader's not an elite skill,
isn't it?
No.
Am I completely?
Yeah.
Well, then you could take a leader thrower.
Yes.
Dodge, guard, mighty blow, and block.
Leader's not an elite skill. You're absolutely right.
Leader's often taxed in rule sets, but not in Games Workshop as yet. No. I think because also it's never spammed, is it?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you could spam it. It'd be pretty pointless.
Technically, in the new rules,
there is now a reason to spam it. Not because it's good, mind you, but there is a reason. And that is that it's changed the wording in leader. You have to be on the pitch at the start of the half, not at the start of the drive.
Yeah.
So you can't just flex him in on the 1 turn and then get your leader reroll. He has to be on the pitch.
But it also says if you have multiple leaders, as long as one of them is on the pitch, you retain the leader reroll. So I think it'd be amusing if a team like High Elves came and they were all leader. So you just have one automatic leader reroll as long as any of your elves is on the pitch. But that is not something we are going to do. So Chaos Renegades, we think they're sort of all right. They're going to hover around in the middle of our meta. We're going to give them 1150 gold so that they can get what they need. But 1180 in skill gold, which is going to give them a reasonable number of skills. Now, let's move on to one of the ones that I think will be contentious. Dark Elves are next out of the magic alphabet soup that is the many rules we have. Now, some people have said they think Dark Elves are doomed. Other people have said they're going to be fine. They've traded 2 blitzers for much better and more interesting assassins, slightly cheaper line elves. Don't you worry about Dark Elves. What they missed there is that assassins are still complete garbage. Hit and run on an assassin, it's interesting, but it's just nowhere near as good as on a piece that can actually take block and be blitzing properly with it.
I would love to see Dark Elves.
Of course, we're going to have to use them,
and
but
hit and run
they've definitely gone backwards. Yeah, me too.
But most stuff has gone backwards, so
except for Zons.
Yes. So normally, I'd be normally happy going into most things with a mild advantage over Zons. If I had 1 skill more in Season 2 as Dark Elves, I'd think, that's probably all right. Same sort of money, or either a 50k advantage in the money, or 1 skill more, but that sort of edge, nothing much more. If I'm the same as them, I think
a little bit extra cash. Skill-wise, you're probably putting them at the 140 mark, right? Where you're getting, you need your 4 elites.
I'm going to put 4 dodge on
1 or
things.
2. But are you going to put 4 dodge, or are you going to take a blodge?
No.
You're going to take
4 dodge.
witch.
You take 2 wrestle witches
PC likes wrestle, so there's going to be 2 wrestle witches.
Right now, I would take 2 dodge blitzers, 2 dodge assassins, and 2 wrestle wood elves, witch elves.
And that's that's as good as a current build, right? Other than it's not.
I mean, actually, with the loss of 2 blitzers, I would probably go back to 1 wrestle witch and 1 blodge witch.
Yeah.
But you can't.
And then you've 1 dodge assassin.
Then you have 1 dodge assassin, so then you shouldn't have assassin the second assassin. And you
but
can't
that's fine. You can put kick on your runner and you're flying, right? So.
Yeah, because a kick makes punt good.
Kick makes punt not shit.
No, it makes it a bit less shit.
Yeah.
But you can still be shit and not as shit as it currently is. There's that much room within shit that you can get Punt notably better and not have left really shit yet. So no one out there should be thinking we are serious about taking kick or indeed taking a runner on Dark Elves or ever attempting to punt the ball for any reason. What can be done with Dark Elves? Are people actually going to really play Dark Elves when High Elves are a thing?
Once High Elves are out now, I am probably actually I'm going to play them. I've got some practice games lined up in a few weeks with them because I do want to experiment with them.
But you see, I've got quite a good score from them from back when they were a good team.
Yeah, but I think with the overall adjustments to the game in general, I don't think their win rate is going to drop substantially.
I don't know.
Don't you? What magic? What the hell are you smoking? And have you got any spare? I mean,
well, because the only people that are going to play them are good players.
Two of their move 7 blodge pieces have gone, and instead I've got an armor 8 plus stabbing thing that can't take block. So how is that going to make it okay? I don't.
Fiki's from Ireland, where everyone plays Renegades. Against Renegades, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Apparently, everyone plays Renegades. 4 of our first 5 tournaments were won by OWA.
So, I mean, already now, I think if Amazon's getting 5 skills, Dark Elves in Season 2 should be getting 6. I think in Season 3, I want 7. I want a Line Elf skilled as well. I think I'm so screwed. I want at least that.
I wouldn't object to them having 7.
No, 7's fine.
Which means I want
I object
180.
to them being on the board, but that's a different problem.
Hargrim, I've not done the maths as much on the Dark Elf starting rosters. Is 1130 fine, or did they need 115?
I mean, the linemen did get cheaper, but I'd probably just stick them at 1150.
Was like everyone's 1150? That's the only thing I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Have I been?
Just have 1150.
Have I been persuasive of my need that they actually are going to need a 7 skill stack now?
They need 7. They need 7.
They do now.
They need 7 skills.
To me, they're getting 6 skills.
Okay. Well, I think that's harsh, but you know, and I do know you like a bit of punishment, so I will take that on my Dark Elves.
I'll bring out my bullwhip next time.
Dark Elves, if any team's going to like a bit of punishment, right?
Yeah, and I mean, look, I don't get me wrong. I'm half joking in my rant.
Slanish aren't out.
I look forward to seeing if I can make something using assassins as a central part of the build work. I think that's going to be interesting.
Hit and run. Stab,
I don't
walk
think.
Away.
No, stab. Take 1 step away and stop.
And
then stand there like a dummy going, if you really want to blitz me with my AV8 plus, come do it.
It's a free diceless dodge.
Yes. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just not as good as some of the people raving about it think it is.
I'm just smiling about this conversation here, and now we've got dwarfs coming up next, and
yeah.
Multiple block assassins.
Do we have to talk about? We do. So okay, dwarves hit Season 3, and every one of you out there that hated dwarves and wanted something done about them, you did this. This is on you. You and your ceaseless whining about a team that was never in the top 5 of winning rates for anything really, apart from that one brief period where everyone took death rollers with sneaky git. But outside of that brief 6 months, dwarves have never been harmed to anyone. You just found them boring because you didn't understand how to easily.
They haven't got any.
And now look what you've done. Look what you've done. So dwarves have. I mean, someone took them out back and shot them, didn't they? That's what happened with dwarves.
But they haven't got any less frustrating to play against.
They have, because no one's going to be coaching them. That's less frustrating if they're not there.
I think I finally cracked the GW design process for dwarfs. What they did was they did humans, then they applied them to OWA and went, what does OWA need to be really good? They need this. Right, awesome, let's do that. Now let's put it on the dwarfs and just see what happens, guys.
I think a dwarf did something to the game designer's mother. That's the only explanation I can come up with. I think there's a deep, abiding hatred there that just hasn't got ended, because just when we looked at the dwarf roster and thought, well, that's shit, isn't it? Not everyone thought that.
The opposite
I would have to say, not everyone thought that. Some people were wrong and thought it would be all right. But most people realised it just wasn't going to be. And then we heard that they're still Tier 1. which, if they're Tier 1 in this, we stop and we turn it off, because you've wasted all of our time this evening.
So
what the hell are we going to do with dwarves? So what happened to them? We should briefly explain, if you're not up with all of this, what happened to dwarves. They lost tackle on everything in the team that had it, so it lost from the beards and it went on to the blitzers. The blitzers are now incredibly good, I have to say. You like a nice dwarf blitzer. They're still move 5, they are still strength 3, but they have, as well as their block and they've gained tackle, they still have thick skull. They now have diving tackle, which is great. So they can throw themselves on the floor whilst trying to tackle something dodging away from them. Reasons the thing might be diving away from them is, of course, they're going to be very easy to hold in place because they now have agility 4+. So they really can't dodge away and go anywhere.
Really blows my mind.
So they're going to be marked up quite a lot because they're the only piece on a dwarf team that can do anything. Because all the limebeards lost access to, not only did they lose tackle, but they lost access to strength skills. So they can't take guard and they can't take mighty blow. So what use they are is open to debate. The runners got slightly better. The runners got given sprint. So in a league, your runners will still be trying to get move followed by move. So that they are now.
And you probably need to take 2 of them, so that's
ridiculous.
Good because you've got no one else who could handle the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the only ones that can handle the ball. They're the only ones that can dodge. So people will have to. The death roller is still around. It's not quite as badass as it was, but of course break tackle is now much better on it. So that's a thing. And we might see some memeing there. And all the dwarves got access to the devious skill tree, which, as I have explained, is full of just utter nonsense you don't need to worry about. But does have dirty player in it. So if you really want to put dirty player on your 70k line beard and go fouling someone within 3 spaces range, go for your life. Write me a long thing in the comments.
In fact,
algorithms love all this. So go on YouTube now and tell me at length about how wrong I am and how great new dwarves are. And I promise I'll reply.
Dwarves are still frustrating.
And we'll have a proper war.
Against. You can't break
because
through
you're
them.
so
they just
fucking
stand
wrong.
There.
Yes, I mean, they've still got AV9, AV10 plus and thick skull. They're still going to be hard to remove, so they're still going to be frustrating in that way.
Defensive
but they're not going to score any touchdowns, and they're not going to take your ball away. They're just going to stand there.
But they never have.
Yeah, that's true. True.
So I did 2 practice games against dwarfs with wood elves,
right?
League practice rookie teams, but the lack of fear I had dodging away was so weird. Having these wood answers and catch like I was going to dodge away on 2+, I didn't care. And the one diving tackle player that got near me, I just punched him. It just like okay.
The agile teams have no fear against them.
Yeah.
No, which is so weird.
And yes, all right, they've got lots of defensive
relatively
now.
slow moving forward bash teams who rely on a guard assist just meet a wall of pain they can't get past, and the dwarves can't get past them.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the beards did get defensive, and I've dismissed it a lot, but there are situations.
Is very interesting.
There are situations where when they're facing chaos dwarves who haven't been limited to 4 guard, that guard wall will come forward, and on their turn it won't be very useful to them. The dwarves won't be able to do anything about it on their turn. So the 2 teams will just stand looking at each other, making no progress for 6 turns. So that sounds super fun. But of course,
like peak Blood Bowl.
Lots of teams now come with strength 4 pieces.
But they've lost
dwarves
access
just
to strength, so they can't be. You can't have a wall of stand firm defensive.
No, you can't. No.
The thing about dwarves is I think their play style has to change now. They can't really fight anything. So you just have to lean into the fouling game, unfortunately, which is a bit
under death roller.
Yeah, it's a bit uninteractive, but it's really all you've got now.
I maybe some taunt, so you drag them into your defensive fronts.
And do what? Embarrass them with your harsh language? You've no mighty blow, you've no guard. What are you going to do to these things you've now captured?
So I wonder if the plan was to make dwarfs the goblin, the non-stunty
completely rubbish and get nerfed in every update.
Yeah. Well, the goblins are actually quite good now, but but give them secret weapons because like they've got loads of star players with secret weapons. So maybe the idea, but then they didn't do anything really other than they got a death roller. But they got half price bribes. So all of a sudden, if they had a chainsaw on the roster and something else, maybe. But I don't know. They're too expensive. They are too expensive now, though. That's but they are way too expensive to even consider that. That's the biggest thing. Is the price of them?
They're still expensive, and their rerolls went up because.
Yeah,
I swear the dwarves did something to this designer's family.
Rerolls.
Yeah, and it's not okay. Dwarves unforgiven in Season 3. Let's hope they make a return at some point in Seasons 4 or 5, because right now they're junk. Hargrim, can we save them? What are we going to do for them?
As much as I hate it doing this, they
Yep.
kind of need it.
Yep.
They need more money
Why?
than they have been given before, because you need to lean into a different play style, and I think the roller is now an auto-include.
Okay.
As well as trying to fit in a bribe.
Right. Now, bribes have gone
At
to
least
50k
one.
for them, so...
Yeah.
Okay. How much money are you going to give me to not coach Dwarves?
1170.
Okay,
Gold.
good. And how many skills am I going to get? Because I'm going to need 4 primaries at least, and then I probably need some secondaries, don't I? So I can put guard on a lime beard.
Probably like 180, 200.
Okay.
I think 200 is a bit too.
So at
180
180,
is probably good.
at 180, I can't take a secondary that's a elite, can I really? So I'm still taking 4
be
elites.
50k, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking 4 elites. I could put, yes, it's expensive, but I could move one of the elites to a lime beard. But then what the hell am I putting on a slayer or a
Well, the Slayers can take strength skills.
Yeah, so they're 2 of your pieces that can take guard or mighty blow. And you're still going to need some of that because you're still all strength 3
You
all over the place.
you could to save an elite skill, take a stand firm blitzer, so they can't just push away from you to make the diving tackle actually matter, maybe.
But I mean, that's one of your few guard that isn't on a slayer, because slayers are quite hard to keep anywhere and use the guard well and effectively.
Oh,
I just can't see a future where I don't want 2 guard on my blitzers. But I also want break tackle, I also want stand firm, and I also want mighty blow on them, and I don't want skills on anyone else because they're all shit. That's the big
so we're
problem.
going to be 200k and unlimited stacks, PC.
Yeah, can we have that, Hargrim? Can we have 200k and unlimited stacks?
No.
I'll just have 2 Uber blitzers and a wall of just things you can hit.
You are forgetting about the biggest buff to dwarfs, though, PC.
What's that?
It's going to be very hard for this stall rule to affect you.
It is, because I'm never going to go anywhere with the ball. Yeah, that's so true. But it means I can't potato with it early, because now I just have to bang it in. They can just not chase me and go, yeah, he's got through with the ball.
Your opponent is almost certainly impacted by it, though, right?
We're going to keep hitting your dwarves as you run off and score, because you're going to have to do it in 3 turns. You can't stall. Interesting times, right? So dwarves are screwed, right? Elven Union. Speaking of teams that are screwed, yeah. What hope for Elven Union? How do we help them? Can we help them with only 4 elite skills, or are they just another one that's in the bin?
Why was this the team that didn't gain diving tackle, by the way? Put diving tackle on their blitzers. All of a sudden, sure, I've got 2 catches. Those blitzers with dodge just become a nightmare to deal with. But no, they gave them fumble rooski, diving tackle, and Hail Mary pass, because they're the skills I want to build my team around.
No, diving catch. They gave diving catch to the
diving catch. Sorry, diving
catch and nerves of steel catchers, but you're down to 2. Of course, you only ever had 2 blitzers. You still do. They still have block and sidestep, but nothing else. And you have fumble rooski on your line elves, which I still can't say with a straight face. Now, lots of people out there on Reddit will tell you this.
And they went up by 5k for that fumble rooski because it's such a good skill.
Makes them now exciting and dynamic, because it means you can run forwards, put it down on the ground, another elf can pick it up, run forwards, hand it off to an elf that can run forwards, throw it to an elf that can run forwards, put it down on the ground to another elf that can pick it up and score. And that's true. You might be able to do that. The turn after that,
on the team, right?
That better be an achievement. That better be an achievement in Blood Bowl Warhammer.
The turn after you do that, of course, I'm going to kill half of your elves. Because you just don't have enough skills defensively to keep them safe. And if you score really quickly, I'm fine with that. It gives me longer to kill all your elves. I think they're hosed, aren't they, with only 4 elite skills?
I don't see much hope for them personally. I'd also say they could be star player caddies, but they're actually probably too expensive to be star player
They've
caddies.
always been a team that's benefited from a stack. Right?
But they were always cheap, and now they're not cheap either. I mean, what's their USP now?
Are you tired of using wood elves that are really good? Use the shit version.
Yeah, that's what worries me. A world without onions, which is, Games Workshop always wanted that, to separate the elves out, and onions weren't supposed to survive. But the community kept them alive.
They're meant to replace high elves,
oh, either way, but one of the 2 should have gone.
Something like that,
And we just went, we like them both, thanks. But I'm not sure I like these. Hargrim, how do we save the pro?
I don't think they can be saved.
Right.
I think they're dead.
Yeah.
So what do we give them
So
all the
you
money
either
and
have to
just
be
let
really-
people do what they can?
You have to be really generous in one way or another, and I think 1150 for them is just fine. But they need so many skills to be viable. And
It's
once
not
you
the,
hit
it's
your
not the
board,
team. It's not the amount of
And
players
stats.
you have is the problem.
it's
what those
like
players can do.
yeah, they
Yeah.
just need so many skills to be functional now. Once you've hit your 4 dodge on your blitzers and your catchers, what do you do next? Do you just take a bunch of wrestle linemen?
Yes, I mean,
Maybe
that's what I'm saying. Do you just
Probably.
become Bretonians? Just throw
Yeah.
wrestle at everything.
And somehow worse.
Yeah. Although
I'd
perhaps...
probably give them 180 in skill money.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think.
I'm
think
not sure it matters
no
as
reason
much.
to object to it.
The problem here is that by limiting ourselves to 4 elites total, we seem to be limiting a lot of what teams we can make fun and reasonable. But
I
we
think
will.
we're proving why the strict elite cap doesn't work.
Well,
personally.
I mean, to some degree, yes, but it's something we have to look at because I think it's going to be around.
Yeah.
Now the next one up, I
100%,
think, gets
it needs to be
another one. We just
Yeah.
did a whole zone of teams that get completely fucked by this. Gnomes.
completely
Another
fucked by
one.
the elite
Gnomes
skill
are dead.
cap. Gnomes are dead.
It's
They're
this,
one of my
yeah.
favourite teams, and they are dead.
So everyone that loved painting and playing your gnomes, I'm glad you had a good time. I now have a team of gnomes in the drawer, which have only ever existed once as halflings. I decided the first tournament I could take them to, halflings would work better, so I did flings, because obviously I would never have flings in my house. I mean, I have standards. So they pretended to be halflings, and they've never been gnomes. And now they may never be gnomes, because gnomes are now so terrible. Oh, why are gnomes terrible? Who wants to tell me why gnomes are terrible? Remember, some people may not have read their rules yet. Fiki.
Elite skills again, right? They live on dodge.
That.
They live on dodge, they live on block or guard on the trees, so the elite skill cap really hurts them.
Yeah.
They need it because they're stunties that just get, if they don't have dodge, they just get knocked down too easily, and then they die. And they were kind of weren't great in leagues in 2020, but they were kind of but NAF kind of made up for it. And now they're still bad at leagues, and they're now bad at NAF.
Yeah, it used to be you had a lovely stunty team, and one of the USPs on Gnomes was finally, there was a stunty team that if you got a rule set where you had to put lots of primaries on, you could do things with it that was good, that helped the team.
Yeah.
So rather than just, I guess I'll have 5 side steps and 3 diving tackles, everyone went, okay, which ones are which? Which ones do I ignore and which ones do I mostly ignore?
The ability just obviously run into a cage with a wrestle player and so with some guard and wrestle player. I mean, I
knocks down less often.
6 guard.
And just they did that stunty thing of, if you really need it, you can just walk through 8 tackle zones to be where you desperately need one, and sometimes it might work. More often against you than it ever is for you. Yeah, the foxes are still great, so they've still got foxes, but the gnomes are going to die like flies now, aren't they?
But you can't give the foxes skills really because it's all secondaries.
Yeah, you never could, so that's not a huge change. But it's the lack of the gnomes having anything. How do we help gnomes, Hargrim?
Give them all the skill money in the world. Just let them play with it however they want to play with it.
Let them be a stunty team, essentially, right? That's what they turned into.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing for gnomes, I'd say, with the foxes, so let's say the elite tax comes in and it's really harsh. If the foxes could at least get like sprint or sure feet, maybe you could then go, well, at least I could have like a 1 turn with them or something, could do some harassment. But the fact that the foxes can't just, you're not.
They're already twice the strength of a boar, and you want to give them more skills and make them smarter than most humans.
But at least you could do something with them in this rule set if Adge was primary, not secondary.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if they could make a reasonable dinner, I'd marry them. They're getting so skilled and useful. I mean, that's what you could do with them. Blimey, foxes! I don't know where the love of foxes came from. I mean, obviously they're very good boys.
You can do that to foxes because you don't have the room to do it anywhere else, right? So you have 40k to give a fox.
Yes, of course you do. Yeah.
I'm just glad on my NAF record I have my gnome win and my gnome stunty cup, and my gnomes can sit in the cupboard for 4 years. And
I wish I had a win on my NAF record.
I'm the opposite. I've got an Old World Alliance win, which I thought was such a hipster thing to have. And now every bugger's going to have one, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go, no, but I got it back before they were cool. That's I'm completely annoyed. All right, so gnomes are screwed. Hargrim, how are we unscrewing them? All the money and all the skills?
I don't think money's their problem. I think skills is their predominant issue. So I've put them at 1130 because it gives you the toys, it gives you a nice deep bench, gives you the rerolls. The chef is too expensive anyways. So 1130 and 200 I think is good for them.
Okay.
There was no star players in this, was
no
there?
Star players.
There's no point giving them money because they're just buying more gnomes to die.
Yeah, and the problem with star players at the moment, this is why they probably need entirely their own show, which I hope to do, called Negastar or Megastar. It's firstly because we've got all sorts of incredibly overpowered ones. We've got lots of quite useful ones. Some of the ones that were overpowered are now fine. Games Workshop really hasn't caught up. Their tiering list for Megastars seems to be incredibly sort of out of date. And yeah, at the moment, if you say no stars, some teams are really going to struggle to be viable. But if you say they can bring all the stars, your tournament is going to be a joke. So that's a tough situation all by itself, which is why we said no to stars for now. Halfling teams, they also got hit by a huge hammer, and I'm trying not to have a party goblins. As we talk about that.
You forgot your favourite stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, let's talk about goblins. Now, goblins did well. So presumably goblins, goblins did great. Let's talk about some of the things that happened that was good for them in Season 3. Bibi Nut, what was your goblin highlight?
The trolls that lost Lona is pretty good.
Yeah, that's so good, isn't it?
Chainsaw can stunty dodge now, which is fucking scary.
Amazeballs! You've got to put a dodge on your chainsaw. It can 1 in 9 into a cage and then chainsaw that Amazon. Oh my goodness, if you're not doing that, your heart, there's no love in your heart if you don't just leap at the idea of doing that. Okay, so that's good. What else?
It's just amazing GW didn't nerf them further.
Isn't it? Swoop, we've got Swoop back. There's a reason to have a Doom Diver again. It's not as good as it was back when we flew. We'll always have those days. But it's pretty good again now. And similarly, you can dodge,
bullseye and
bullseye
and stuff like that. I think.
I still think lethal flight is a noob trap. Bullseye, I accept, might be reasonable. Lethal flight, I think, is a ha-ha when you're out for a beer playing.
You're all forgetting the best combination of skills you can give
what's this, Hargrim?
Quick Fowler, Saboteur.
Okay.
Punch my chainsaw? Fine, I'm going to chainsaw you right back.
I do like that. And one of the chainsaw stars comes with Saboteur.
Nobbler does,
But obviously, it's a great skill to put on your ball and chain.
He's a blodger as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's
I think
dodge, Saboteur, chainsaw.
It's insane that you'd have Saboteur on him. I don't think I'd
for 120k.
Yeah. I mean, there's something good about that, but it's I just don't buy Saboteur as good, to be honest.
They also got the fact that on their one turn now they can pass they can pass hand off and throw the teammate.
So you can pick it up in your backfield. You can throw it to your Doom Diver, who can then swoop 1d6 places again in a scatter, like a throw-in. So you're back to aiming in the direction you want to go. It's 1d6, very hard to know where he might land, and then he can stunty dodge if you've put dodge on him, like the chainsaw. So yeah, Doom Divers are back, baby. I mean, that makes up for the only slight nerf, I suppose, which is Sneaky Git got shit again, didn't it?
Yes.
But goblins do have access to devious skills on all of their goblins, so they, like the gnomes of last season, have a use for primary access on ordinary goblins. You don't have to take sidestep, you can take dirty player. Yes, full, actual dirty player. Or any of the other 11 completely shit devious skills.
Well, there's there's the new, what is it called? Guard for fouling.
Yeah, that's
why?
That's a skill.
Just don't stand in a tackle zone as you assist someone fouling. It's so niche. I'm never taking it.
But what else are you going to give a goblin?
That means your goblin that when he assists for the fouls, they're going to get punched the following turn.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sometimes
what else am I going to give him? I'm going to give him dirty player, so when the first one's sent off, I've got another one with dirty player to still do my fouling.
There's also Lone Fowler, which is probably the only other one on there that is worth.
I've looked at the maths on it.
I'd rather go dirty player first.
I've looked at someone else's maths on it, and that seems to indicate it's great as a second skill on a dirty player.
Yeah.
But perhaps as its own skill, you'd rather still have a dirty player. So
if you randomed it, not that you'd random anymore, you wouldn't be upset. But
but not that you'd random anymore.
Yeah.
So
no.
So what are we doing with goblins, Hargrim? These people are worried these are going to be overly competitive now. We need to put some sort of limit on them.
They don't need that much money.
They don't need a lot of money, so I think 1130 is probably where you put them at.
Okay.
Skills is probably the one where you have to be really careful with how much you give them, because of the as you mentioned, you can take Dirty Player now as a primary on your Goblin lineman.
Oh yes.
So not only are you is your fouling game a lot better, it's in case you lose your Hooligan. They have options. They have things they can do. They're scary now. They were already a team that were relying heavily on dice working in their favor.
So whatever money you
now
give
they're
me,
just even scarier.
I'm going to want to put dodge on my Doom Diver, a dodge on my chainsaw, and then ideally
it's secondary on chainsaw.
Yeah, and then ideally block or pro on my trolls. So I'm looking at
or on your ball and chain.
2 or 3 secondaries. Goblin, ball and chain. I've always been fine with them not being skilled or just renting fungus, who's so much better for 10k more. My loony. Yes, only devious on primary. You're correct.
Which is why Nibbler, whatever's in the star player chainsaw, becomes...
Yeah, it becomes even better at his 120. Yeah. That is very good to add blodge on 2 elite skills. And that's why the stars have all changed. Again, you need to price in the elite skills that you get on them now, as well as just their specials and things. Okay, so what skill gold are we going to give them?
It's really difficult because they're still a stunty team.
Yeah.
But they're a scary stunty team now, so I think 160 is probably the right spot for them.
Yeah,
okay.
I like 160.
They're still a difficult team to coach, right? So
yeah.
So if I'm taking,
they're not going to be dominating every tournament.
If I'm taking elite secondaries, now, they're even more 50, so aren't they? So
yeah.
So if I take a block troll and a dodge chainsaw, that's 100. Then I can still take 2 more elites at 30. So I could take 4 elites across the entire team, couldn't I? 2 as primary and 2 as secondary. But that leaves me nothing else. Okay, I mean, I think considering how much they got, we do need to take a lot away from them and make sure they're not rolling with like 6 dirty players, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, that seems reasonable to me.
Concern.
That seems reasonable to me. Okay, goblins. We're happy with goblins. Wow, I mean, look at that. They've gone from, say, a tier 5 team to suddenly they're getting 1130 and 160. We're sort of tiering them quite high, aren't we? In an old-fashioned tiering system, they've leapt up to, say, a tier 2 position.
I mean, partly comes down to what you spend your money on. You give them too much money, they're going to rinse the bribes and dirty bias refs, and then
if they get star access, rippers out of 250.
The main thing is they don't need. They don't need much money about the stars. They're like that's one of the things with this edition. A lot of teams don't need the money. They need the skills.
But whilst they've had some buffs, I mean, someone in the chat has rightly pointed out, I said at the start, we're going to benchmark things against Amazons. And we gave them enough to get a fully functioning team with a couple on the bench and 4 elite skills. Are we really saying that goblins with 2 elite primaries and 2 elite secondaries would be able to compete with that?
I mean,
or are we saying they're stunty? This is a level for stunty that's okay.
Well, I go for the Talk Marduk idea on this with his Pitch Invaders rule set, where he had 5 tiers, and then the money went up, and then when you got to the stunty tier, the money went back down again. So but they were the only ones who allow star players in that rule set. But he didn't want them, because you go to a lot of tournaments where stunties get 1.2 million, and they're the only ones who allow star players, and they get all the toys, and then they can just sometimes win just because the star players carry them. So I do get the logic. We haven't got star players in this, I say, because they are such a wild card at the moment.
And I'm fine with making stunties stunty again. I'm just thinking that can that Goblin team compete with the Amazon team we made at the start? And my answer is
it's by far the best.
Not quite.
Them? Yeah. I mean, but the Goblin team could still, the Chainsaw could kill, and the Trolls could kill 3 Amazons on the LOS, and then they'd snowball, and the Amazons still lose. It's
that is a possible future. Okay, we do need to move on, though. I understand where we're putting them and why we're taking the things off them, which is much more interesting to me, actually, than where they end up. Halflings. Now, these did get hurt hard, again.
Yep.
Again, it's their lack of access to Dirty Player in the same way that Goblins have got it. It's the lack of access to some of the stars they used to have, but we're slightly ruling stars out. And also they just didn't seem to get much that helped them when lots of other people down at that end of the table seemed to. So what's the problem with Flings?
They just got to turn their freaking skills on. You put block on both your trees and then go, what the fuck do I do with the other skills?
Yes.
Pretty much. Making the devious skill tree. I'm actually on command. I actually don't like the devious skill tree anymore. I think I've gone. I think it's hurt too much other things. But what do you take? Some sidestepping things. Cool. Choose where you die. You take leader on a hefty. Cool. You already have a chef. It's just
So there's just a whole load of meh without much to do.
Yeah.
They've lost some of their best star access. The best star they currently get access to, no one's going to allow them to take. Because Jor-El is one of these broken AG 1+ pieces. Which, as the rules state right now, I do say we're not going to go into this, but this one is worth covering. The rules state right now that AG 1+ pieces pass every test on a 2. Because an adjusted dice can never go below 1, and their rule specifically says for AG 1+ that an adjusted 1, it passes. So literally they can dodge into any number of tackle zones, pick up in any tackle zones, leap into any number of tackle zones on a 2. So
don't forget,
until
you can
that
also
gets
leap
sorted,
multiple times in a turn now.
Yeah, so you can leap, just constantly keep doing it. So until that's sorted out, no one's going to allow Jor-El access, because that's just ridiculous.
I could also see him getting Mega Starred even once that does get fixed.
Yes, me too.
Because he's pretty good.
He is.
Yeah.
And then what have the Flings got? Right? The Flings, they used to be like a nice roster of star players that they used to be able to take from, and you'd be like, combos, and you could mix it up a bit, and it gave the team a different play style.
Yep.
Now it's like, you take Jor-El.
Surely we still got Deep Root.
Yeah, but
he's going to get Mega Starred too, right?
Every time I see Deep Root, I went 3 trees. Okay, fine. That's going to be mildly more annoying than 2 trees.
Yeah. Maple's all right, but I don't know if they got the support to make Maple work. I don't know. It's just a weird team now.
So, is there anything we can do about this, Hargrim? How are we saving Flings and making them attractive? I want people coming to Chess Bowl that doesn't really exist and don't think you can come.
They just need the gnome
halflings.
treatment. They need the gnome treatment as well. But the problem is with skills, it's just
what
do you do with these skills?
You take your 2-block trees and
then what else?
So can we give them more money so they can have a chef or some re-rolls or some bribes?
But they don't need the money for the chef.
Kegs are good for things with terrible armor.
They can take some bribes.
Yeah.
My thought for Flings is 11, 30, and 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
loads of diving tackle and sidestep that's no bloody use
ask
to
the
anyone.
people who bring halflings to the event if they need psychological help.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds fair enough to me. Now let's get into some more joyful news. Because not everything got hurt. Now, not in your rule set, but do actually exist, is the team of High Elves. Now, at the moment, we have the High Elf team of Legend, which I think most people think looks quite good. The only elf team with 4 catchers. Didn't seem to get notably harmed. No terrible skill was forced upon it. And the rumours have it
5k cheaper.
Yeah, so making onions even less attractive. It used to be
because Armor 9+ and Fumblerooski is basically the same.
It is. It really genuinely is. So the one advantage onions always had was they were cheaper than High Elves. Well, they're not anymore. So you could have onions or you could have better armor. I mean, it's up to you. I know which I'll be choosing. Let's get High Elves. These must be something we can actually do good things to and make competitive with Amazons. I know 4 dodge is a limit, but there's other things they can take. Do we like High Elves as they are in the team of Legend? BB Nut, what do you think?
I've been a High Elf enjoyer for most of 2020. And I was always a bit iffy with how you tier them. Like 1160, 8 skills in the old edition was perfect. Crisp, loved it. But now, because they look so good with the amount of mobility they have, having 4 catchers and 2 blitzers, you kind of got to be careful with how you tier them. Because now they're looking incredibly strong for an elf team that was basically the worst of the elf teams.
Well, and remember, a lot of elf players are going to be fleeing Dark Elves and Onions and looking for an elf team. So we're going to get a lot of people on them unless we're careful.
Maybe not go out and buy a high elf team unless you're willing to need a new one in 6 months.
Yeah, we don't expect these to last long. Fiki.
Yeah.
High elves are definitely, they look stronger on paper than anything else right now, but you have to give them that extra skill or two, possibly still. And the rumors about what they will be are very interesting. So, you still. It depends what sort of hard choice you want to introduce to it, right? You can penalize them on skills, or you can penalize them on cash. Do you just want them to have 3 catchers, 11 men? Or do you want to give them everything in 12 boys or an Apo? So then they get too much, right?
This is going to sound really weird to say. I actually think the goblin tiering you've got there is actually perfect for them. And to say that high elves and goblins, they've got the same tiering seems perfect, seems so mental.
Yeah.
But they've got cheaper, so you're going to have 1130s, basically 1160 for them in the old money anyway.
Right.
And that gives you the choice of, do you want to go for the 4 elite skills and then 3 other skills, or do you want to go for sacrifice a couple of elite skills and go for more, just go for more wrestle or tackle maybe. But I think they do need a stack.
Yes.
Really.
Okay. I mean, what on one of the catchers, just so that you're not just throwing dodge or wrestle or block on a catcher. At least one of them has a multiple of skills.
Stacked catcher is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put them. Do we all agree that they kind of need a reasonable amount of money, but not huge amounts, so that there might be someone out there that coaches pro elves. But that they need a reasonable number of skills, but then they're going to be super competitive and lots of fun. Do I think I could look at 1130 with 160 for skills on high elves and think I could take Amazons on? I mean, I struggle to think anything's going to take Amazons on, but yes, I suppose so.
We'll get there in about eight teams.
Okay. Well, let's crack on because I do want this to end, and we're already nearing that 2-hour mark, which is as long as I ever try and go. Imperial Nobility.
We still have quite a few teams to go.
We really do. Imperial Nobility got a lot of help in this rule set.
Humans first.
Oh, sorry. Yes, humans. We're only humans. Don't put any shade on us. No one's going to be coaching them. We can give them whatever we like, surely.
So humans, I would say humans are a team that in my local groups tested probably the most.
Right.
And I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're good, but compared to how bad I thought they were going to be, compared to what's actually happened on the table, they aren't awful. They are definitely star player caddies. They need to star really probably to fill out the team, but the catchers are really good now.
Yeah.
The blitzers are, say, very good now, starting with tackle, and then they're dirt cheap, so you can probably fit a decent star player in with most builds.
My hot take is that I think they are one of the teams that isn't as badly hit as people think they are. How much
better.
I think that I don't know. They definitely haven't got better. But
the catchers going from strength 2 to strength 3 is phenomenal for them.
Yeah. So everyone's gone, they've lost 2 catchers and 2 blitzers. No, they've lost all 4 catchers. What they've gained is 2 blitzers that lost block but gained another point of move and got dodge. Now that's incredible. A move 8, strength 3, dodging, catching human catcher is an incredible piece. Human linemen were always sort of okay, always reasonable priced. I don't think humans are as dead in terms of a team to coach as people thought. What I do think is, why would I do that when Old World Alliance exist?
That is the issue.
That's the big problem.
I would say I actually don't think they've lost 4 catchers. They've lost 2 catchers because whoever took more than 2 catchers anyway.
Well, they've lost access to all catchers. I think the new catcher is a whole different piece. It's more like a blitz piece to me. Throw 2 block on them, you've got 2 move 8, blodging, strength 3, catch humans. That's incredible. But I can have one on Old World Alliance, so why would I need 2?
We did block and wrestle, and that gave us some flexibility in there.
Oh,
and you had the tackle. Yeah, they're not as bad. And the team captain rule, giving one of your blitzer with Mighty Blow Pro for free, is just it's pretty good.
Yeah, though I do find it rude that orcs get to dodge with their break tackle and humans get tackle instead. I think it's something about that doesn't fluff-wise quite work for me. So Hargrim, I don't think. And Fiki, do you agree? We've been, lightly cheering ourselves on, me and Nut, that they're fine. Are they fine?
They're fine. They're humans. They're exactly in the middle of the pitch, right? That's where they, for 25 years, orcs and humans came in the box, right? They were the middle of the road teams, and I think humans are still very much that. they feel that nothing really special, but nothing terrible, right?
Yes, we're pricing elite skills at 30k. We're only allowing 4 total elite skills, heroic tackle, because otherwise you need to start deciding how many elites for each different team, and that gets very tricky. We're trying to hint where we think, allowing, for example, Chorfs to have 6 instead of 4 would make them incredibly viable. Whereas we just allow 4 to Chorfs, we think they're in big trouble. So we're trying to cover that a bit as we go through, but you have to set one ground rule and try and talk about the teams in that way. So that's one that we thought made sense for tonight. So what are we doing with humans, Hargrim? How do they...
1130.
Yep.
180.
Okay, so I'm taking my 4 skills, which is my 120, and then on top of that I can take another 3 nice, interesting skills somewhere on the lineman or the thrower or something. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Injury on your ogre.
Yeah.
I think 180 might be a bit too generous. There's definitely an argument there to put them at 160 instead.
But it looks a bit harsh going 160 when the high elves are above for 160, maybe. I don't know.
The thing is, humans seem like one of those teams that might actually be able to handle Amazons quite decently now with the 2 innate tackle, and then you can take a mighty blow and give him pro.
Yeah,
so now you have a mighty blow tackle block pro piece.
You've also got 2 move 8 and 2 move 7, which are all faster than Amazons. So you've got speed edge on them as well.
Don't you have 2 pieces that just never fall over a 6?
Yes. Okay. So humans, we're going to leave them there. I don't think it's the tiering that's going to stop people taking them. It's the fact that Old World Alliance exist. So Imperial Nobility, the knobs, they got a boost. They've definitely gone up.
I love knobs now.
Did my camera die?
Everyone...
yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah, you are. You're frozen.
Hang on, let me just fix that. You can keep chatting.
So, yeah, knobs got a lot better. The bodyguards did lose a point of movement, but outside of that, some buffs all around, wasn't it? We had... The retainers are now AG3+, so they can dodge out. They don't have to just stay there and take their hits anymore. The throwers went down to passing 2+, so the human throwers went up to 3+, just because that's what happened. And yeah, pretty much some buffs all around with their access. Their prices went down a bit to make them more affordable. We think knobs are going to be not brilliant, but definitely a bigger force in Season 3. Are you sharing that over on the Emerald Isle, Fiki? Are you excited about your knob play?
I think they've moved from firm tier 3.5 team to a 3, right? To a solid.
Okay.
They've come up in the world, right? But they're not competing for the top spots on a regular basis, I don't think.
So you think they've crawled a step up, but they've really not changed to the point where you're suddenly excited?
I'm extremely excited about knobs.
You're licking your lips. I look forward to some knobs. No.
I am. It's actually the only thing I've asked for Blood Bowl for Christmas is a knob team and an ogre.
And why? What specifically has sold you that now's the time to get into knobs?
The fact they're cheap. I've always kind of liked them, but they've just been too expensive. So now they're cheap enough that you can actually take a proper roster. The linemen aren't just a liability anymore because they can dodge around a little bit. You don't want to rely on it because it's still a 3+. And, as we know from playing elves, a 3+ dodge is the scariest dodge in Blood Bowl. And
how they exist, I don't know. How people do that and think that it's normal.
But the blitzers as well. We just talked about how good pro is on the for humans gaining pro on the blitz on one blitzer.
Yep.
Well, they've now got 4 pro players. If you take both throwers, you probably don't, but you're at least gonna have 3 pro players. The blitzers is still the blitzers are just the heart of the team. You give them dodge, you give them one of them tackle. That's a really good ball sacker.
Mm.
And they're just a very frustrating team to play against when they're working and they just slow the opponent down and they don't get through the bodyguards. I find that really, really fun that they just break that mold on what quote unquote
it's
normal Blood Bowl is.
They're not the best team for driving forward, right? They frustrate your opponent.
Yes, their
offense is still very difficult.
Mm.
I would argue it's better because now the linemen can potentially reposition a bit.
Yes, but the blitzers have got slower. But then, when were the bodyguards ever dashing down the field at great pace? That doesn't strike me as something that was
a slow grind.
Core to what they're doing. I don't mind them getting a little tiny nerf there because I think they did get some other buffs. But we're
They got
saying
lobs,
they always used to do quite well with at least one stack. Are we saying they still probably need a stack?
Probably.
I think it's less needed with the pro on the blitzers.
Yeah,
now.
Right.
I agree.
Because that's always, to me, it's when a team gets out of kindergarten is when it really can survive without a stack in the big bad world of Blood Bowl tournaments.
You're
So-
a proper team now.
Yeah, so well done. We can take the training wheels of a stack off, and you can just play Blood Bowl. Okay, interesting.
Nobility also say, as said earlier, give me hope the Bretonians will be good in 4 to 5 years.
Yes. So just let's hang on in there, and maybe like knobs, you can slowly creep up the power rankings. What are we going to do with them, Hargrim? How are we fit them into a tier system?
So
they still need a bit of money, don't they?
They might have gotten a bit cheaper, but they still have really expensive teams. So I'm going to give them 1150 for money.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay,
it should put them at right where they need to be. Now
I'm going to need 4 guard on my bodyguards and also 2 dodge on my blitz.
Yeah, that is the one downside.
So you have to be very careful with where you place your elite skills.
Right. I suppose I can have a Rackle bodyguard, can't I? I don't have to have all guard there.
You have options on what you can do, but you're not taking like a 160 and I'm taking 8 skills. You're taking 4 elite. You have to.
But this is another team that's really hit by that limit of 4.
Yeah.
There's things we can do with it, but we're going to have to coach our way around it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as well as my 4 elites, how much else am I going to get?
I think 180.
Yeah.
I think 180 is probably
at least another 3 skills on top of my 4 elites. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to find some way of using bodyguards without guard.
It gives you the skills on the bodyguards. It gives you your 2 dodge blitzers, or maybe a block or dodge and a tackle, or dodge and a frenzy, dodge, sure hands, whatever you want to do. And then you have 3 skills left over to do whatever you want with.
Yeah, I think I'm probably taking 3 guard bodyguards. As you say, at least 1 blodge blitzer and 3 guard, I think, is the way to go. And then the other blitzer can take something interesting and fun, like a frenzy, like a tackle. Perhaps I put the tackle on the other bodyguard. Rackle there is quite nice. Although now they're only move 5, perhaps I want the tackle elsewhere.
I think I'd prefer block tackle over wrestle tackle.
Yeah,
especially considering the bodyguards are move 5 now.
Yeah, I think that move probably is what kills them. If you take tackle, you probably want it on one of your 2 blitzers. Okay, that feels like there's something I could do there with that. I'm still not sure he would take an Amazon team on. But then everyone is raving about how powerful knobs they've got. And whilst I do see some big powerful knobs in our future, I'm not sure they're quite there yet. Okay, let's move on. Time is cracking. We reach Khorne. Now, Khorne got no better, and we're always shit. Do we agree?
Yeah.
The Khorne Gore are awesome now. The Khorne Gore were always the best players, and now they are really the best players with the 2 new skill ups. But they need something else. There's a video I'm working on the 5 missed opportunities of this edition with teams. Khorne's on the list. You look at what Nurgle got, and then you look at what Khorne got, and it's like, okay, was there just someone on the design team who loves Nurgle, and Khorne was just like, well, they came out recently, we didn't do anything with them.
Well, I mean, I faced Khorne yesterday at a tabletop event, and they completely banged me out. They had Mighty Blow on everything.
Yeah.
They only had 2 Cornigores. They didn't need more, and they deleted three of mine in that. I had humans. They deleted 3 on the line of scrimmage in turn 1. And I think killed 3 more by the end of turn 3. So when it goes right for Khorne, it can still go right. But that's really the Khorne build, isn't it? There's nothing we can do in tiering them that's going to help with that. They're still going to be shit at Blood Bowl, aren't they?
I would say the Khorne go as far as the blood spawn and how long you can keep the lionos alive for is the way I always look at it. And they can 100% bang you out in a couple of turns and win the game. But for every game that happens, there's a game where they don't bang you out in turn 1. And then the team just slowly falls apart.
Well, the Blood Seekers, I mean, we're going to want 4 elites on those, aren't we? So that's where our 4 elites go.
Yeah.
So almost no matter how much we give them, we're trying to scram it onto Cornigores or a Blood Spawn or...
If you're 4 elites on your Seekers, you're almost required to put jugs on your spawn to make them viable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. They need guard as well, because otherwise you end up being frenzy trapped.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying it was necessarily 4 block or 4 mighty blow on your Seekers. I mean, I might mix it up and have 2 guard and 2 mighty blow. I might not take block even.
And then you'll
or
end up
two
with a
block,
sure
two
hands
guard.
ghost,
But I think I'd probably want a couple of guards there. A sure hands goat? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Tackle goat.
Yeah.
All right.
What you really want is a block. Is probably a block corn gore though, because there's going to be so much wrestle around now, and obviously Juggernaut overriding wrestle. The block player can just come in and smash them. But he also probably wants mighty blow. He's doing that.
I mean, I would say Bloodseeker is another piece that could benefit from break tackle, but of course they're already agility 4+, so it doesn't drop it that brilliantly. And they're just so hard to control with all the frenzy. To have them where you want them is very difficult.
They're unfortunately they're in that category of they're a fun team. They've got, in my opinion, they've got worse.
Okay, what can we do for them,
right?
Hargrim? What can we do for them? Because for goodness sake, we're not halfway through the alphabet yet.
You need money. They need money. They need skills. They need everything really.
They need everything, and they're still not going to be good.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'm inclined to give them 1170 and 180.
Right.
Yeah.
Which seems reasonable because corn got really bad now.
So that's 4 elites and 3 non-elites, a decent amount of cash to get everything they want, and we still don't think we've overpowered them. No. Brilliant. Okay, now we come to the sad case of Lizardmen. Another team that I feel the elite skills might be hurting just a little. However, they got some buffs. Their Sauruses now have Juggernaut, meaning that even without block, you could blitz with one, and it might not be terrible. So surely you don't need 6 block on your Sauruses anymore.
I think you want
to
give
one frenzy. Yeah. You give one frenzy, then so that's you still need 4 elite, right? You still need 4 block.
Okay. What, 1 tackle, 1 frenzy, 4 block?
1 tackle, 1 frenzy, or
stand firm Crocs.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, just to stick on the ball carrier or whatever and into an annoying spot and just go, you got to knock me down.
Do we think that the boost of having Juggernaut on all the Sauruses is enough to make up?
Or a leader comedian skink as well, sorry.
Yes, yeah. Do we think that
I think that's sort of required now, right?
The Juggernaut is enough to cope with the lack of 6 block mostly? That most rule sets are going to seemingly do that?
No.
It gives you an option on your blitz that you didn't have, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
so it'll help a bit, but it won't mitigate it entirely.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not, it's nice that they gave them something. I wasn't expecting them to.
It's not fumble risky.
Yes.
Yeah. It's no fumble. It's no armbar.
Well, is the hot take that we're going to see some more interesting lizard builds?
No.
Depending how, yes, because even if the elite skills are 4 of each, obviously you still can't take 6 block. And I still think you really want one Frenzy Saurus now, just because Juggernaut's combo.
Jug Frenzy is strength 4 with AV 10+.
If you're just giving a
pretty
6 skill build to lizards, I think you have the option of a Frenzy Lizard where you didn't have before.
Okay. Hargrim, so what are we doing with lizards?
1150. 160.
Okay, so I get my 4 primaries, 2 primaries alongside my 4 elites. So I've got 6 skills still, but I have to find 2 that aren't block. Okay, well, I mean, that was always going to be Lizard's problem this go round. But I've still got all the strength up there to bash the Amazons up. I guess I've got a chance. Right, Necromantic Horror. Now, I hear Andy Davo at a weekend tournament this weekend is coaching Necromantic under the title Before They Get Nerfed. So we all feel for Andy that nerfed Necro have got hit so hard in Season 3. But I have
Worst
heard
team in the game.
Some people on Reddit don't agree and think they've done well. What's your take, Nut, on Necro? Have they got boofed or have they got buffed?
I don't understand. So they got all the undead buffs, which we'll cover with undead.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, everything got cheaper. And it was like... But why? Necro are good. I mean, the Necro starting roster was always awful.
Yes.
Well, not awful. It was tough.
Unaffordable.
And now it's not. Now,
it was just,
Yeah. Now they can definitely have an affordable starting roster, but it just seems like the elite tax does hurt them a bit, and not as much as you think it would. You can work around it. You can get away with 1 block and 3 guard, and then take a tackle Wraith, a Wrestle Wolf,
Yeah.
And then like a sure hands ghoul. You don't. It's not.
But you
It's
still
not like
need 7 skills.
That's
right?
7
But
skills.
still need
I'm
7
not sure
skills.
anyone's
That is
giving you
good.
7 skills.
Yeah,
Well, but
but
maybe you don't need the sure hands because they're cheap enough now. You can get free rerolls and all the positionals and the bench.
And they got
for
so much better
11.50.
that they can drop to a less skill build and probably be fine.
They'll be fine. It is in some ways it's maybe arguable at that point. It's a bit of a side grade.
So people that are saying that Andy wasn't being ironic, and I suspect he was being, were pointing out that it might be the fact that because they're now got so many buffs, that they're not going to get the skill access or the money access for him to build the way he wants to build. I think he's crazy, but I think that's what he maybe feels.
But we've known Andy's crazy for years.
Yeah, but that used to be that he just overserved things. Now he actually believes nonsense.
They always needed that little bit of extra cash to make them good, or that extra skill, right? So they don't need the cash, but they haven't gone away from needing 6, 7 skills. Right?
They still lack core skills, which is their problem. So if you don't give them 7, 8 skills anymore, there is going to be some areas of weakness, I guess. But
it sounds like
they've gained eye gouge, they've gained regen on the ghouls. You know, it's
they
like,
have.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Necro have notoriously been the one race that has always been a nightmare to tier. Give them too much and they break the meta. Give them too little and they're completely useless.
Okay.
And finding the sweet spot is really, really difficult because it also varies on what else is good.
Have we found the sweet spot? What are we giving them?
1150, 160.
The other thing I say for Necro beforehand as well was if you didn't give them enough, everyone played Undead. If you gave them too much, no one played Undead, everyone played Necro.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think the two teams have gone far enough apart that maybe that isn't the case anymore.
Okay, so we're still going to allow them 6 skills, but only 4 elites, of course, because that's our maximum. They're going to struggle to get exactly what they want. They're going to have to compromise somewhere, which is quite nice to see. And they get enough money, though, to get all the positionals and put a reasonable roster on the field. That sounds like they're going to be at the top end of our meta, but that's how we are tiering them for Chest Bowl. Moving on from Necromantic, another winner in that they weren't a loser, I feel, is Norse. A team, well, I mean that because they come with elite skills on all the players.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to have been taxed anywhere within how they've been looked at within the rule set. So to me, that's a staying still that's actually a huge buff.
But the board got 5k more expensive.
Yes, and still is half the strength of
They
a
were
fox.
always taxed with having to take berserkers to get guard, right? So.
Yes. Now,
but you still made a good roster.
I was very disappointed berserkers didn't still come down to a price point where I'm going to consider them good value. At 90k, I really struggle to put one on a team usually.
I was hoping they'd lose like 10k off them or something like that.
Yeah. But we don't think they got notably hurt in any way.
No,
they're still a perfectly great. They're still a perfectly fine tier 2 team.
So my thesis is they're going to be slightly stronger. They're still going to be tier 2, but they're going to be the top end of tier 2, solely because of the less amounts of block on other teams. Yeah. Meaning that all of their block is more powerful. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And they don't need that. They need some elite skills. They don't need like a crazy amount of elite skills for now.
Do they? I mean, unless you're putting lots of berserkers on.
Typically, though, right? They would typically take 2 block, 2 dodge, 2 guard.
The build I used to do was 3 guard, 1 mighty blow, 1 block, 1 wrestle. So I'm only on 5. Yeah. I'm only on 5 elite skills. So now I probably just drop. I maybe either drop the mighty blow for a tackle or I drop the block for a wrestle.
Well, I don't really believe in
still pretty good
as a 90k AV 8+ guard caddy that won't be where I want it to be because of its frenzy. So anytime I took a Zerker, it would always have a tackle on it, so that's not elite. My Ulfs would usually either take guard or block, so that is 2 elites. My Valks, I'd have 1 block and 1 wrestle, so I'm looking at 3 elites. And then after that, 1 secondary, 1 primary for the other Valk. But after that, because I don't really run with Zerkers, I don't care. I'm not going to take a Yeti. I'm not going to put much on the lineman I care about, so it's all just bonus after that.
You see, I always run 2 Zerkers in NAF, partly because I want another player that isn't drunkard.
Yes, their pace is bloody useful, yeah.
Yeah, so, but, and also, you generally speaking, you get about 1150, and you got 14 players, you got 3 rerolls, you got an Apo. That's a pretty good place to build.
But as we said before, I can also get a lot of use out of Juggernaut on an Ulf because Juggernaut Frenzy Strength 4 is as good as we said it was before.
Yeah.
I can put Break Tackle on an Ulf and get some good use out of an Ulf that can go anywhere on a 2+, and could possibly even Cave Dive. So there are some things I can do without elites. I'm just not sure how you hurt them. Like Amazons, you can take stuff away, but until you've taken everything away, they've usually still got about enough to stay where they always were. Hargrim, what are we going to do with our Norse?
I think because they're as cheap as they are still, 130, 1130 is probably right for them.
Okay.
As for skills, it's really difficult because they don't really need much because they have so much block.
Yeah.
It's once you skill the Valks and the Ulfs, everything else is just icing on top of the cake. You might take Berserkers, some people will take the Yeti, but it really just is a case of where do you put the skills? So I probably think between 140 and 160 is right.
Yeah, I'm quite happy at 140, to be honest.
I would say quite often I did take when you had like the 7th skill. I did always quite like either a dirty player Lino. I don't know if they can do. I can't remember if they can do that anymore. Do they get devious?
They cannot. They do not even
Nope.
have devious access.
No.
So
you're,
the other
you're
one,
Norsemen are clean living fellas.
The other one I'd do is just because obviously Zons are so popular. Is I'd quite often take a tackle Lino.
Yeah.
Just because another tackle on the pitch was never a bad thing.
I mean, as I said, I'm usually not taking Zerkers, so a couple of tackle Linos is not terrible for me. But yeah, I just don't think money is necessarily what you need to stop them having.
No.
So I think they'll be fine. We come then to Nurgle. Now, Nurgle started getting tiered down with the stunty teams. There were tournaments where they would literally be tiered as a stunty, and you might find Gnome and even sometimes Snotling in the tier above them. And hence Nurgle were able to take stars and stack things and do all sorts. And do you know what? Still didn't help. They were still shit. Except I should point out, I did go to an event where two coaches on the London scene did incredibly well with them, and I faced one of them and with Slan, and they just completely wrecked me. They just literally tentacled everything. Nothing could go anywhere, and they destroyed me. So there were still some people that got a tune out of old Nurgle, but they were dropping way down the rankings. That's been arrested, I hear. Tell me why, Fiki.
They've got better. They've just got a lot of little buffs. Like they've lost the 2 Gores, but the Gores have got better. The Beast isn't as bad. The Warriors aren't as bad. The Rotters aren't as bad. They're just everywhere. Have got better. They're still not good.
Yeah. They're still going to struggle to get forwards and score stuff, aren't they?
Not. I still don't see them as suddenly going from tier 7 to tier 3, right?
I do have some concerns, though. I mean, notably, people have been asking me, so what am I going to hate now that dwarves won't exist? And my top tip has been, you're going to hate Nurgle.
Yeah.
Because while I don't see them dominating and winning a lot,
they're so frustrating. They'd be so frustrating to play against.
They've leaned into what's known as the stymie build on Nurgle, isn't it? Which is the stop other people doing stuff. That's what they're now built to do.
It's what's it? If you're within pick-me-up range, a blocker is 70% chance. If you punch a blocker, it punches you back next turn.
Yeah. So to hit a Nurgle bloater, first of all, it's strength 4, of course. So if you're strength 3, you're going to need 2 assists in place. Secondly, of course, you've got to pass foul appearance, so that's a 2+ just to hit it in the first place. It's now stand firm, so if you don't power it, it's there hitting you back. If you do power it, the beast of Nurgle, the Chaos Nurgle spawn, Rot spawn, now has pick me up, or stink me up as it's already been called, and everything within 3 spaces stands back up on a 5 at the start of their turn. So yeah, why would you even bother hitting a bloater now? It seems almost a pointless thing to try and do. And people are going to find that so frustrating, where they knock things over and they just stand back up and go, ha ha ha.
People already find Necro quite frustrating with the stand firm. Then you got 2 of them and the sidestep foul appearance. We'll now combine basically all that into one player that can also potentially stand up at the start of the turn for free. And got regen and
So stopping them, even with based cages, just literally walking down the field, stinky step by stinky step, is going to be incredibly hard and very boring.
Yeah,
they don't have the tools.
They're going to do the same thing to you, right? They're not. It's going to be an amazing little old draw.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're looking at a team event and you need someone to go, just get me like 6 draws and maybe win a game. Nurgle's one of the teams that you would consider for that.
Yeah. Yes, I don't think they're going to be a lot of fun. How do we stop them having too much while still allowing them to come and play at Chest Bowl? Hargrim, what are we going to give them money-wise and why?
$11.50.
Okay. Yeah. With that, I can get my 4 bloaters, my 2 pestigores, and a rot spawn, can I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
Good.
I haven't sat down and done the math, but I'm pretty sure that $11.50 is good enough for them.
Okay,
and they got cheaper, so that I think $11.50 sounds about right.
Now I hear that instead of elite skills, what the sexy modern bloater is going to want, the urban bloater is chomp. Is monstrous mouth. For those that haven't heard of monstrous mouth, it's a new skill. Instead of taking a block action, you chomp someone. They then cannot leave the square they are in, whilst you are still marking them. Now, I think that means if you are powered and knocked over, despite Stink Me Up picking you back up, you are then for a moment not marked and hence not chomped. But if the stand
Technically
firm...
not true.
If the stand firm...
Marked.
They're on the ground. Yeah. I'm not marked when you're on the ground.
Still marked. You're still marked.
You are not marked by them.
Yeah.
You are marking them.
Yeah.
So hit and run doesn't work, but they are not marking you. They are pro.
Yeah, so a chomped would click off at that moment. They'd have to stand back up or be stinked back up and chomp you again. But of course, if the foul appearance works and you don't get to hit them, or if the stand firm works, you don't get to push them, they are still there. And that's why people think there's going to be a lot of chomping monstrous mouths around on our Nurgles. So elite skills aren't necessarily the problem. It's how many other stupid things that are going to annoy everyone they can do. Hargrim, what are we going to give them that stops them having lots of stupid things that annoy people?
Between 160 and 180. The thing is...
Sounds like plenty of annoyance to me.
They're still a shit team. They're still a bad team. They've lost 2 of their most mobile players, and that's really just hurt them so much.
So with 160, I'm going to get 2 bloaters with block, 2 with chomp, and I've only spent 100.
You're not taking 2 chomp. You're not taking it enough, surely.
I'm taking 2 monstrous mouths on my bloaters, and I'm taking 2 guard or block on 2 other bloaters.
Then you're taking 2 elites on your gores, right?
Yeah, and then my gores can have a couple of block as well.
I think 6 skills.
That's 160.
That's 160. Yeah. I think that's plenty. My beast of Nurgle, my rot spawn no longer needs any skills. He's too busy wandering about helping people stand up on a 5+ for free. And with his new now useful tentacles. Okay, so Nurgle, we think they're not going to be winning lots of games, but they are going to be pissing everybody off at a tournament near you very, very soon.
I think we found the new dwarves.
I think we have, yeah. I think people are going to stop. I think they're going to forget about dwarves. People go, do you remember when dwarves used to play Blood Bowl? Oh, yeah, I think I do, yeah. God, do you think they'd have dealt with all these horrible Nurgle? No.
Before they all
took all their skills away. Why would they? They hate us now. Speaking of things that people hate, ogre teams. Now, break tackle's making them kind of sexy and fun. What do we think of ogres in season 3? Other than break tackle, is there any other changes for them that you noticed?
Noblar's got devious skills on primary.
Yeah.
Which is
you're gonna have people playing. You're gonna have people playing ogre cannon, right? They're just gonna be picking them up and throwing them at you with bullseye. But that's because that's what ogre players want to do.
Yeah. I used to laugh at that. I used to think it was fun, and occasionally, like 1 in every 20 games as a stunty, I'd see a point of throwing someone at someone. Not for position, not to score, but as an actual weapon. It always meant I was in huge trouble and everything had gone wrong. And then you sit down opposite someone, it's the second thing they do, and you're like, this is going to be a fun game.
But they're also, ogre players are also, they set up their drive, what do they do? They try a 1-turn touchdown. Right? And that has got easier for them.
Yeah.
Ogres are still going to do what they do. Most people come to a tournament with ogres are just there for one thing, it's most casualties. That is still what they do. They start with Mighty Blow, so you don't need that many elite skills. You may want some guard. You don't not necessarily need it because you're already strength 5. You probably want some block. And you'll probably have a couple of dirty player nobblers now because if you get enough skills, because they can take it. Yep. And why wouldn't you?
Yep. Thank goodness they don't have bribery and corruption. What are we giving them, Hargrim? Are we putting them as high up as we would put, say, a goblin team?
I think we need to put them at 1130.
Okay.
Because they don't really need the gold for much.
But
So
don't they want
1130
do they want some riotous
Their-
rookies or whatever
Their
it is they get?
rerolls are still not the cheapest.
Riotous
right?
Rookies got
So-
50k more expensive. I don't think it's worth it anymore.
Right.
They never really took They never really took it anyway because of how expensive it was in the old rules. I don't think they're taking it now.
Are we saying that they didn't actually try and win games? They just came to hurt stuff, and Noblars don't
Pretty
help them with
much.
that. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And this is also one of the teams that isn't really hurt by the elite skill cap.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because-
not massively.
All right. So where are we putting them? We're putting them with 1130, and I mean they don't need, as you said, they don't need much, do they?
They don't need them, but they were always traditionally given a lot of skills, right? Because nobody cared.
They might care, and also they turn up with 3 dirty pair nobblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, if we're giving them 180, then they're turning up with 4 block ogres and 3 dirty player noblars, and that sounds fucking lethal to me.
Two
Block
dirty
is
players and a
50k,
leader,
so
yeah.
you'd only be able to get 3 block
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
1 dirty player.
Okay.
Oh yeah, blocks a second.
Yeah, because they're secondaries, of course. Okay, so that does limit them a lot, yes, because it's 50k for block on an ogre, isn't it? So if we limited to, say, 140, I think that would be kind of reasonable. That's 2 block ogres, 2 dirty player knobs. What more do they want?
Can I say, I always like to bring this up at this point. Back when I started playing Blood Bowl, ogres were 0 to 12 ogres on the team.
Yeah, they were. It was ridiculous times.
And they had goblins, not nobblers.
I'm being a little cruel, and none of you stopped me. What are we going to give them?
No.
Is it as low as that? 140?
I think
That's more than
160.
I think
160.
160.
Yeah, it is that block ogres are still secondaries. That is what saves them from being dangerous, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to give them something, but not give them too much. Excellent. We have got all the way past ogre, and there just isn't that many left. But we do have to talk about Old World Alliance. Oh my goodness. Now, talk about teams that leapt forwards. Old World Alliance, I think everything we know about them is pretty much junked now in Season 3. Do we agree?
Yeah.
They've gone to a place where they don't need skills anymore because they got them built in.
Right.
Pretty much.
So where you were giving them 8 skills previously, now you give them 4 on the same days they want.
Right. So the dwarves all got better. You now get 6 full dwarves, which are probably worth the name dwarves. They're exactly the same as on the dwarf team, except the dwarven runner, amusingly, still gets agility access on a secondary, which they don't on dwarf teams. I suspect that's an errata that will get cleared up at some point.
I don't know how many people will get this reference, but to my opinion, I said OWA are the Brawn GP of this edition. Yeah. Just like they went away over the winter, almost like there's rumors they were going to get disbanded, and now they might be the best team in the game.
Yeah, there were rumours that all these mixed teams were disappearing. Well, Old World Alliance haven't disappeared. My theory is Games Workshop has a warehouse full of unsold Old World Alliance boxes and Grack and Crumbleby boxes. And they said to the designer, look, and a few too many Zolcathas Oats. And they said to the designer, look, can you help us get rid of this old stock? And he went, yes. And that man's getting a fat bonus.
My theory is that they didn't think about Whole World Alliance, and then there was that moment they went, "Oh shit, what have we done? A bit late now, guys."
Shocking! The idea that they don't care about the rules or the balance.
Right? So,
Vicky, sorry.
The rule book was written by 4 different people in 4 different departments who never spoke to each other.
That does seem at times very possible. Yes, Hargrim, how do we cope with the new Bonza Old World Alliance? No one knows where they should be. Where should they be, my friend?
Correct.
That's
easy.
No.
Wow.
They only need 4 elite skills.
What do we give Zons?
We gave Sons 1110.
1110 and
Old World Alliance.
120.
more
No,
expensive.
on skills, not on the money. What do we give Zons
Yeah,
on
it's
skills?
true.
The same.
Same 120.
No, then I still think you come down one more.
You think they need a little more than Zons still to compete with Zons? They start with 2 tackle blitzers, remember?
Yeah, but one's Edge 4+, as you already told me, he's terrible.
Yes, it is. He's terrible when the rest of the team can't help him. When the rest of the team's fine, he's much harder to pin down.
I will say, at this money, you'll struggle to get free rerolls if that's a problem.
I think the build cache is the problem, not the skill cache.
Okay, so we can keep them tight on skills unless they want to diversify their skill choice away from elites, but maybe give them 1150.
I think they do. It is still quite an expensive roster because, like as we've already said, dwarfs got expensive, and they have dwarfs. They have more dwarfs than these two as well. So,
but they don't need the skills they needed. That's the difference.
Yeah. So I think they can still be incredibly competitive now without the huge skill packs they used to get. So do be careful of any tournament where Old World Alliance is still getting.
They're going to regret losing Armbar, but
yeah, 100%.
Well, of course they are. It's going to make Chaos Chosen the dominant force in Blood Bowl.
It's going to be that one game where you're going to be at a tournament and like 3 players are going to fail dodge off dwarfs. You go, oh fuck, I've had armbar. If I had armbar.
So we think they're going to be top end of the meta. Now a team that's changed a lot, and my good and lovely friend Hef is quite excited because Orcs are becoming what he always played them as. I've talked about him before on the show. He's always played something he calls Speed Orcs, with a maximum of 2 big uns, but mostly relying on the decent quality of Orc linemen and them being hilariously slept on for the good quality they are for their price. Using goblins, using that pace, and trying to get Orcs a bit cheaper and a bit more dynamic. That seems to be the redesign that has happened to Orcs in general, who have dropped to the Orcs that we get in the team. So only 2 blitzers, only 2 big uns. The big uns have got amazing now. They start like you've already put all your skills there, and you go no, you can still put a skill on that in NAF.
They got a buff with them. The move plus in 2020 was huge for them.
Yes, so they went up to move 5.
They've got even better.
Yes, so we've added on to that move 5. We now have move 5, obviously still strength 4. There's only 2 of them, but they come with Mighty Blow, Taunt, and Thick Skull. Yeah. All at the cost of only Unsteady. Unsteady means they can't use the secure the ball action.
BB 2025 looked to BB 22 and went, "You think that's a big an upgrade? Hold my beer."
Yeah, absolutely. So Taunt means
you are putting block on them. You can't afford to be their guard piece anymore.
Right.
They're auto blocks. Right. There's no guard on the big one.
If only their linemen could take guard.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, they can now. Yes. And they all lost animosity as well, so all the Orcs have made friends, which is a lovely end.
Mr. Throw is nearly a good player.
No, Mr. Throw is now a good player. They've solved it. They've made him move 6. And on a team that's lost 2 blitzers, it is all it took. On a team that lost 2 blitzers, you might now even take. Here's words I thought I'd never speak. You might take 2 Mr. Throws.
And a troll.
And a troll.
And a troll.
I always hated the troll in Orcs, and now I'm like, no, actually, I think you take the troll because. What else are you spending the money on?
We should point out he is still a big guy. He does still have load of 4+. He's not like the lovely Black Orc and Goblin Troll.
Yeah, my advice with Orc teams was always you can't afford a troll until the rest of your team can fill that gap.
Yeah.
Now you have to take one.
Yeah, but I mean he's a good roadblock and always was. I suppose that's going to give him something tough to do.
Move him 4 spaces. Stop.
Yeah, put him in something's face, and as long as he's not stupid, that'll do. He's done his job now. Yeah, and I think the blitzers with break tackle, they're going to be more mobile. I think the big uns are terrifying now. And of course, you also get team captains, like we talked about with humans. So one of those pieces you're also going to add a free pro to. So either to your Mighty Blow big un or to your blitzer.
And if you can squeeze in a mascot.
Yes. Yeah. Well, everyone's going to want a mascot, but that's possibly for another show. Orcs, I think, aren't necessarily what they were, but I don't think they got hit that hard. What are we giving them, Hargrim?
I don't think they need much money, Hargrim. They don't need that much money, buddy. They don't need that much. No, honestly,
they can build an 11-10, no problem.
11-10, they're fine. 11-15, you can get all 13 players, 3 reels, an Apo, and a bribe.
Wow.
They don't need money.
Okay.
They've lost 120 grand of positionals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, although you can replace them with goblins and Orc linemen, both of which are incredible Blood Bowl pieces.
They've lost 4 guys that cost 30 more than a lineman.
Yeah. I would say Orcs probably need like 6-7 skills. I would say that'd be more well.
They still need skills.
Yeah, they're a team I want to see more skills than money. That's where the Matrix really comes in because they still need some help beyond.
They still need 4 elite.
Yeah.
Yes, you're probably going to want...
And then they need 3 others.
You're probably going to want block on both your big uns and then maybe 1 guard, 1 mighty blow on your blitzers. So you're definitely going to want...
I don't think... No, you take 2 guard. You take 2 guard.
Yeah. You have to take 2
You've got 2 mighty blow players that are going to be blocking all the time. One of them has pro.
I would take 2 guard, but people like hitting things.
Yeah, but that's what the big uns are for.
So
Yeah, but none of us are Italian. We don't run with
two big uns with Mighty Blow and a big guy is going to be enough. That's my 3 hits on the line of scrimmage. My Blitz then also needs Mighty Blow. So anyway, that's going to be your 4 elites. It's going to be 2 guard and 2 blocks, possibly some Mighty Blow depending on your nationality.
My worry with orcs is people are going to give them too much money, and then they're going to have a dirty player goblin as well with a bribe, and then they're going to have 3 Mighty Blow, and they're just going to wreck LOSs. And then before they know, there are going to be so many players up, it isn't going to matter that they've lost 2.
And goblins with dirty player and a bribe, that is the goblin team's job. Orcs have no business doing that. Yeah, okay,
they
so
still need 7 skills.
We're agreed. They need 11, 10, a low amount of money, but we think they need... So what's that? We're saying 180k in
160.
gold? 160 feels reasonable.
Yeah. 180 is way too generous.
60 makes them make some choices. They can have their 4 elites, but then they only get 2 other skills.
Yeah.
And it's not going to matter that the line orcs have guard access if they can't take that many elite skills. Now, Shambling Undead have always been up at the top of every meta. Presumably they're still there, are they? Fiki, are they?
They're not smooth anymore. They're still a good team.
Okay. Yeah. Nut, are they?
Yeah, I'd say that they've gone from being like out of the elite tier but into like the tier of very good. So they're now dirt cheap. Shockingly, you lose 2 ghouls, replace them 2 zombies, and they already were cheap before.
Yeah.
So you're not going to struggle to do a bit of fouling, have a little something on the bench.
And the 2 whites starting with tackle is pretty big, considering what their main they did struggle a little bit with Zons if they didn't get the PAL. So now, yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to... Hargrim, again, Undead, are they all right?
I think they're fine. Zombies have become interesting with the whole eye gouge thing now. And there's some weird interactions going on with that I haven't really read up on fully yet, that I need to sort of read up on. Like, does eye gouge work on chain pushes? I don't know.
I mean, at the moment, that's one of those ones the community's really split on. Certainly the person you're pushing it works on. Does the person they're pushing get eye gouge as well? I mean, you're not there to gouge their eyes. Common sense says no to me. But a literal reading of the rules says yes. So
I think Undead are still a very, very good team. And I think with the changes to the whites, they're definitely able to compete with Amazons.
Yeah.
Because now you no longer have to spend one of your skills taking tackle to deal with the teams that you generally struggle with.
And always the problem with tackle was yes, I mean, I'm going to spend one of my 5 or 6 skills on tackle. For 3 games, that'll be brilliant. For the other 3 games this weekend, it's going to be completely useless. So if it's built in, I'm less worried about that.
Losing the 2 goals is hard, but regen is big, right?
Yes, it is,
and also, they're mostly elite skill proof. Mostly.
I mean, my view is that you've only lost 1 ghoul because your 2 ghouls will regen on average once between them. So you're at a max of 3 ghouls, whereas before I just had to kill them.
So you're assuming your ghouls are dying every day.
Before I had to kill 4 ghouls. This time I'm going to have to kill 3 ghouls because I'm going to have to kill one
skeletons
twice.
Are gone, right? There's no, you never buy.
Why are they still on the roster? When zombies got a free upgrade and were widely thought to be slightly better anyway, how does anyone justify zombies still?
Because they can secure the ball.
Yeah, and they're that 1 step faster for fouling, which used to be okay to make me think one of them on the roster wasn't the worst thing you could do. But now why would I do it now?
There's no point in taking them anymore.
No, I don't think so. What are we doing with Undead then? Are we giving them the Amazon package or are we helping them a little more?
I would say a little more personal.
They need a little bit more in skill money, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't need... Well, they really don't. They don't need more in skill money because they're not buying the amount of elite skills. Right,
you're not taking 3 guard and a mighty blow.
You're probably taking 2 elites.
You're taking 2 guard. You're probably taking at least 1 block. You're probably taking a mighty blow and a white. Then you're taking wrestle. Probably I think probably 140. I would say on skills.
I mean, I always think if they've got 2 guard whites that now are also guard and tackle, they've got 2 ghouls that they skill up. What else do they need? I'm not sure putting guard on a mummy has ever been a good thing.
I've never guard on a mummy. If you have a free skill, it's okay, right?
Somebody's devious.
So that's 4 elites and 1
They
non.
have it on. Oh wait,
I think that's fine.
Skeleton. They are devious.
Yeah.
So skeletons aren't devious, but zombies are.
Zombies are devious. Skeletons are not.
Yeah, skeletons just so screwed. Skeletons are the zombie of this world. They're just sat there thinking, why does no one love me anymore?
I'm a mere bag of bones.
Yeah. So yes, any money we give them outside of there, we're going to see 4 elites there, and then a dirty player zombie. I bet you.
Yeah.
But hey, that's their right, and I think that's going to make them competitive up at the top end of the meta. I think that's fine. That's what we're looking for some teams to be. Moving on, we have Skaven. Now, is the party I threw for Skaven, which I'm still hungover from, was it premature? Are Skaven actually doomed?
I think they're
They're
fine.
not as good as they were.
They're another, like humans, they've impressed me a bit more than I thought they would in practice.
Yeah.
They're not as good. I'm not going to come here and go, don't worry, Skaven players, you're all fine. You've lost 2 gutter runners, you're not fine.
Yeah.
But they're really cheap now. You can do some. The blitzers are really good. They're still a good team.
You can still build a
just
screen, right? Like move 7 linemen. Yeah, they're shit linemen, but they move 7. They get in front
I
of
actually
you. They
think
get
they
around
got.
you.
My view of Skaven is they're less. Skaven were they were a Swiss Army penknife team. You could build them so that whatever you had to do, they had things to do it. You could bash teams, you could run away from teams, you could cage dive teams, you could dodge teams, you could swamp teams, you could wall up against teams. I think now they're going to have to be much more careful in what they do. More like Old One Alliance, they're going to have to come with a very specific plan on how they enact it. I think you can build your Storm Vermin as ball sackers. You genuinely can. Put break tackle on them. They already are strength 3, block, and strip ball. So yes, you might need to put a reroll and get them into the cage, but then they are incredible once they're in there. I think 2 gutters isn't as many as 4. I can do maths. But it's still enough that you can hover around a cage, you can be ready to sweep up a ball if it does get popped loose. You've still got incredible agility and an incredible way to run enormous distances. And if you do choose to go cage popping with them, they can now stab once they get inside, which is a really handy option for them. So you can have, with a single skill, you can have a gutter that has 2 options. It can stab, or it can wrestle, or it can stab, or it can strip. So I just think they're not quite as dead as people say, which is a real shame, because I wish they were as dead as dwarves. But I don't think they are. I think they've been hurt, but not hurt as badly as I would enjoy seeing.
I think they are now an enjoyable opponent to play against.
It might be that, yeah.
The big thing's going to be you're not going to have the 1 block, 1 wrestle, 1 sidestep, 1 strip ball gutter option, because you would take strip ball anyway now. You've already got 2 strip ball on the team. So the gutter runners, it's a bit more limited what roles. You got to be careful what roles to take. The biggest thing I think is going to be is what happens with the animal savagery ruling on the rat ogre, because if it's as bad as it's raw, it's the worst big guy in the game. If it's what the old rule was, then they're fine.
Yeah, then they're fine. To explain, it may be, we don't know 100% yet, but if you read the rules as written, it may be that now animal savagery, you still lash out at the player next to you, but you don't then continue with your activation, at which point no one's going to stand next to them, hopefully. And if they do, activating them is now a risk.
It reads that you don't become distracted, and that's all. That's if you read it as raw, that's all it says. You don't become distracted.
Yeah.
But...
So hopefully that one does get sorted out. Before we just move on, I want to say, other than in the chat, Captain Oates being gloriously wrong again, saying that I'm wrong and that Skaven are more dead than dwarves.
They are deader than dwarves.
And he's wrong. A couple of interesting points. One from Benny Bartez, that skeletons could have been saved by giving them, for example, disturbing presence, or of course Fumble Rooski, as a built-in skill to make them a bit better without being OP. And also we had
them 10k.
Yeah, we had from Cobblestorm that firstly, outside of Blood Bowl, when have you ever heard of zombies being the skilled players? That does seem an interesting change in zombie fluff in history. And that perhaps giving them what we've given zombies, perhaps giving them devious access, giving them eye gouge, perhaps you could take general access away from them, and that would help balance them in a bit more and make skeletons something that certainly in a league you might want a few of. I think both those are great ideas. I think you should maybe talk to Games Workshop, who don't have any ideas as to how to make skeletons and zombies coexist in a way that is meaningful and not meme-worthy.
Now, this is going to sound weird, considering one of my favourite teams got buffed by this. I think the problem making skeletons better is you make Tomb Kings better.
You don't have to make them the same skeletons. You can make some dusty old skeletons and some modern new scary skeletons.
What they're doing.
Yeah, they've got a lot
of
of conformity around, haven't they?
Yeah,
They have.
And let's not forget, not having to be the same led to Old World Alliance Dwarfs last
Yep.
edition, and let's not go back down that route.
No, it didn't used to be that you had to be the same, and now you do. What are we doing with Skaven, Hargrim? How are we making people want to play them, rather than just remember them?
Obviously, considering they got cheaper, I don't think
Yes.
money is.
No, they don't need money.
No, they don't need money.
Is the problem. So I've set them at 1130. I don't really know what to put them with skills.
I don't even think they need a massive amount of skills, right? Because they don't have the players to give them to.
I think 140 is fine.
That might even be too. It might be too generous. I don't know.
Shouldn't we be thinking, okay, look, we think they've got some tools, but they're really going to struggle. What they need is not money to go much bigger. What they need is skills to replace their missing positionals with a couple of linemen that can either have, say, wrestle or tackle or something of some use.
Are you putting a skill on your roger?
Yeah.
Probably, but yeah.
Jugs.
Yeah, so
they probably need a stack now.
So at that point, I've got 2 skilled gutters, 2 skilled Skaven storm vermin. I've got jugs on my roger, and everything else is naked. Well, then I'm taking Amazons.
Yeah.
I think they need to be 1130. I don't mind them being cheap, but I would go 11. I'd go 180 on skills. Remember, we've already limited them to 4 elite, so they're throwing junk skills on. And I think to be competitive, they're going to need skills on their line. Racks.
They don't need random wrestle.
Middle ground,
right?
Yeah, okay. I'll settle for 160, but I can't see them that cheap. Despite hating them and wanting them dead, they already are dead, so they need some help to come back to life. We shouldn't be partying on their grave. I've already done that. Okay, so
a moment of silence in the alphabetical order for Slan.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them. They don't exist. They're not real.
It's line through, straight through that.
Is anyone here wrong and thinks that Slan should be kept alive?
No. We've got 30 teams now. We don't need them.
Yeah, that.
I'm also sure there will be a Slan-esque team at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get Slan as they are now.
There's rumours abound, right? Like a Squid team coming, and
which I did nothing to start. We're definitely getting Squigs. You heard it here first. Even if other people claim they said it first, they're lying to you. I'm the one that's making Squigs happen. When you have Squigs and you're painting them, think of me and be grateful.
Oh, no,
I'm making Squigs become real. Squigs is going to be great. We are going to get Squigs. We don't need Slan. Let them die. Slan are gone. 100%. So, Snotling teams. We don't need Snotling teams, but we have them for some reason.
Get in the bin, delete them, get rid of them. I want nothing to do with Snotlings ever again.
I faced Snotlings yesterday and absolutely destroyed them, but they still had the odd worry to me. You know, their fungus flinger, who was terrible.
They've got far better than they were. They're still Snotlings, right?
But their pump wagons got cheaper and lost secret weapon. There's rumours you might...
Their pump wagons got way better. Their trolls got better.
Yeah, they've had several buffs, but are they still a bit shit and need a star?
I still have... Someone sent me a roster that was... And again, I know we're not doing stars in this, but it was 2 trolls, 2 pump wagons, Ripper, and... I can't remember. There was another star player in there, and I'm looking at it going like, well, that's a front line I just don't want anything to do with.
Yeah. 4 strength 5 and a strength 6,
yeah. Without 1, if not 2 stars, they're not.
Yeah, without the stars, they're still stunned.
But the problem is, because the pump wagons actually got slightly cheaper, and they were never an expensive team in the first place.
Yeah.
They're still much better on their basic team, but still a great star caddy. Is that...
Yeah.
Losing... The pump wagons losing the secret weapon and pile driver now being a free foul gives them that dream option they've always wanted, right?
Yeah, again, we need to know if pile driver is a free foul or if that's just people deciding that because the old FAQ is dead, until we get an FAQ saying, no, it's your one and only foul, they can decide it's a free foul again. I think there might be some wish fulfillment there. Hargrim, how do we deal with Snotlings?
Delete them.
Yes, I mean, you're not wrong, but they're not going to let us do that. If I let people bring them to chess bowl, other than social appropriate, what else are we doing to them?
They don't need money.
1130 probably.
Yeah.
160.
The skills are awkward, and again, they're going to be even more obnoxious now because they've got devious skills, haven't they? So they're going to be.
They don't need. Depending on what they're doing, they're not looking at elites, right?
No. Maybe 2 block on trolls.
Yeah, they might want a couple of block trolls.
Or they're looking at trolls, right? They're looking at bullseye or accurate or...
Yeah.
And pro, I know it's still a secondary, but pro is incredibly good if you want to both hit things and throw things. It's multi-use, and of course, you know, Now it's 3+. It's fairly consistent. But of course, now the
You might get
trolls,
one block
trolls on
pump wagon.
Snotlings
You're
don't
going to get
have
a pile
loner.
driver pump wagon.
So I've got non-loner trolls and non-secret weapon pump wagons. I mean, this does sound like Snotlings are going to be really quite aggressive and dangerous, doesn't it?
They're going to have a great first drive. And then half their team will be dead.
They're going to have that turn. They're still going to have that turn when it all goes wrong and they fail some stupidities and then they won a 9 or whatever.
Are they? Because you can re-roll them without loner affecting it.
Yeah, but you're not re-rolling stupidity, are you? Because that's...
You might if it's important. Now that it's more or less guaranteed to work.
If it's important, but
Okay, all right. Well, I worry about Snotlings, but we are tiering them quite hard, aren't we? We're not giving them loads of money. We're not giving them huge amounts of skill access, and at least in Chess Bowl they won't be bringing stars.
And rookies has got more expensive as well, right?
Okay, we have several more to get through. Let's crack on. Tomb Kings. Now everyone says this is the coming force. Certainly they got a buff. They did lose some thick skull, didn't they, from the thrower and the blitzer, maybe, or is that still there?
No, they still got it.
Okay.
And the thrower got +1 armor.
Yes, it did. It's up to
and
9+.
Guardian's got Brawler.
Two guys got Brawler. Okay, so we've got gains all over this team and no losses, and they were fairly solid anyway, if quite low tiered.
And they can raise the dead now.
And they get a free skeleton if anything dies now, despite that not being Khemri 2.
Secure the ball changes.
Khemri law is not like that at all, but there we are.
Nope.
Okay, so these sound like they got some serious buffs. Tomb King's going to be up at the top end threatening things.
No.
Why not?
They're a good team because they still, at some point in the game, you're still going to have to make some 4+ dodges, most likely to win. And that's where the team still falls apart. They're a bit like Nurgle, but not quite as bad with it, whereas they're really good at getting draws.
Right.
Again, team tournament, you want someone in your team to guarantee that they'll get a draw every game. Play Tomb Kings. You'll win the occasional one. But the fundamental issue is at some point something might go wrong, or you have to make a dodge because someone wants to base you, and then you're relying on a 4+. And that's what loses them games.
Okay.
To secure the ball's not even that amazing outside of rain because it's still a 75% pickup with sure hands.
Yeah.
So
and we're only making it about what, 86, isn't it, or something with secure the ball?
83, yeah. So it's not like it's good. Don't get me wrong for them because you probably do still secure the ball, but it's not like it's made a massive difference to their issue. Especially as you might actually want to keep moving because they are slow.
And again, the rain is one of those areas where there are two very, very convinced factions saying that it does and doesn't affect secure the ball. So until smarter people than me have decided on that, I'm going to stay neutral on it and say it is not clear to me which of those two outcomes is true, according to my reading of the rules. I think both of those people have a point. Anyone else want to come in on Tomb Kings before we put them somewhere?
No.
No? Okay. How are we dealing with them, Hargrim?
You don't want to give them... This is one of those teams where you don't want to give them too much as well. So I think 1130 is probably about right.
Okay.
I also have a quick theory on Tomb Kings. I think one of the reasons they did well is because they weren't very popular. So the people who took them to tournaments tended to be very good Tomb King players.
Right.
Which I think skewed everyone's opinion on how good Tomb Kings actually are. Like, I don't think they're bad. They're not,
they're medium tier
last edition.
They've got 4 strength 5 pieces. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it?
It is pretty good.
And they move forward like they're not...
Without nega traits, they're not. Yeah, they may not have mighty blow.
They used to have 4 mummies.
They used to have 4 mummies. Think how amazing that was. So yeah, I think they're pretty solid, and I think they're gonna move probably a full tier upwards here. In an old 5 tier, I'd have expected to find them in probably 3. I would now expect to find them in, say, 2 in a 5 tier system. Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
But however, we're not playing in that world anymore. We're playing in a whole new world where lots of the money's gone down, and seemingly the skill access has as well. Hargrim, how are we dealing with Tomb Kings?
I really want to give them 180, but I know damn well it's too much.
That's too much.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. So I think the sweet spot is 160.
Because, again, unless we're limiting secondaries, we really have to be careful of them taking too much block on those big strength 5s.
Yeah.
We don't mind a bit of guard there, stuff like that. We don't mind some elite skills, but we have to get the right elite skills. So we can't let them have access to too many secondary price level things. Okay, only a few more to go. Let's crack on through. Next up we have Underworld. Now they were very, very sexy at the start of Season 2. Then they got hit with a few massive nerfs that dropped them right back into the pack. Actually not as low as people thought. It's not like they dropped back to the stunty tier. They were probably still in the top 10 of races, but they dropped to one very specific play style. What do we think of them in Season 3? Did much change for them?
They
The
got
Skaven got
buffs.
upgraded.
Yeah.
So they got slightly
Again,
better.
if they get a star player, it depends on the star access, right? Like
Yeah.
Underworld dominated early 2020 because they had Skitter or had plenty.
They also dominated because even when they had a 6% win rate, the people were still tearing them at 3 out of 5 for a long time.
Yes, TOs took
They were
a long
mid-tiered
time
and
to
they had
realise
good
how
star player
good they were.
access.
Yeah. And to be clear, what's got better with them here is that they have not changed at all. But that means they still get 1 Gutter and 1 Skaven Storm Vermin, and those have got a lot better. So because they dropped a number on Skaven team, they increased in quality. But Underworld still get the same number, but they get that increase in quality. So your Storm Vermin now comes with Move 8 and with Strip Ball, and your Gutter Runner now comes with Stab. So yeah, that's a definite leap forwards for them.
Did they get the good troll or
No?
No. But they're also better placed if the Rat Ogre is rubbish because of the ruling on Animal Savagery. They have the troll.
Yeah, and they do get mutations on primary, of course, which has always been a nice thing for trolls. So there's the things you can do there in terms of tentacles.
And Snotlings get devious skills, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah,
as primary.
Yep.
So they can spam some dirty player on Snotlings.
But much more importantly than that, they also get mutations on primaries, which means you can have monstrous mouth Snotlings. Now, this is the opposite from a stand firm foul appearance monstrous mouth that you have almost no chance of knocking over and freeing yourself. There's obviously a very good chance you knock a Snotling over. But if you don't...
if you have 3 Snotlings on a ball carrier, you have to move all 3 of them before you can move?
You absolutely can. And you need to POW them, remember, because if you don't get the POW, they sidestep, at which point they're still going to be marking you.
Correct.
So unlike a bloater who you can't push away, Snotlings you just can't unless you POW them.
God, it's the new all draw team, right?
Yeah, and they can just come in and on a 1 in 36 they can get through any screen, any cage, then they can chomp your ball carrier. And so I think that might use their blitz action. But even then, there's going to be turns where literally forcing them, there's no other way that player can move.
Somebody's going to turn up to an event with that roster. And it's going to be a board of ethics.
And I hope they've done it because they've heard this podcast, and we have made them do that. And by we, I do mean me, because I think that's a hilarious build that has the possibility of really working.
They're going to turn up to that one tournament, and that one game it works. Oh boy!
Yeah. But even if it doesn't work, I mean, what the hell are they going to do? They've either got to hand the ball off, or they've got to blitz backwards to clear it and POW it, or the ball carrier can't move.
We're going to hear about this team again when PC has to play it.
Well, so turn 7, you don't need to blitz them to stop them scoring. You just put your little Snotling in and chomp the ball carrier, and everyone else sets up in a line in front. And they can't blitz forwards. They have to blitz that chomper. Oh, I think we're going to see some hilarious plays with Underworld and Monstrous Mouth Snotlings. You heard it here first. But Snotlings undeniably got some mild buffs. They've got a bit better. They were already rocking up towards the top end of the meta, though nowhere near the dominant team they had been. What are we going to do with them? We are on the home stretch.
They don't need money.
They really don't need money. They don't need skills.
No, because everything's super cheap.
We give them the Amazon treatment.
We give them the Amazon treatment. Are we saying they might be that good?
I think they're still as good as they were before.
They don't need many elite skills, do they? Really? Maybe Mighty Blow on the Blitzer.
Maybe
you take a 2-heads Gutter Runner.
Yeah,
you take a 2-heads Gutter Runner. So that's one elite skill you're not spending. You don't really have elite skills to spend anywhere else.
I mean, I'd want either Guard or Mighty Blow probably on the Vermin. But as I said, I might be tempted by a Break Tackle, which then is not an elite skill.
You have, even with 120, you have enough money to give your big guy an elite secondary.
Or you can just have a Rat Ogre, and if it works as it used to work, give it Juggernaut, and then you don't need a secondary. And of course,
A couple
every
of
Well, there's more
Wrestlinos.
money.
every
more
bit,
money than
every
need.
20k you've got left is a dirty player on either one of your
Or
goblins or
chomp
one of your
snotling,
snotlings or a chompy snotling.
Or,
Chomp, chomp,
or,
chomp.
So
or
I
so
think
some wrestle on some Skaven to
so. We
bring
need to give them
bring
no
down to
money
Bowies here.
and no skills, don't we? And just
Pretty
accept
much.
that they're still going to have to just knock things over and foul them out. Otherwise, they're just
Yeah.
going to get ridiculous, I think. Yeah, I think that might be a worry. Yes, people have said, yes, instead of putting break tackle on it, of course, because it's a mutation team, put 2 heads on it, and then every dodge is the same as a gut
Yeah.
it used to be. Yeah, you're absolutely right, BB Jock. Very, very good shout. So, yes, my break tackle meta breaks down when you get mutations as easy, because then 2 heads is definitely better. Yeah, 2 head storm
And 2
vermin.
get strength 4.
Oof, horrific. Unless it's
They
strength 4,
go-
yes.
PC, there's your ladder team. It's a 2-head, strength 4, break tackle, storm vermin.
Horrific. Okay, so what are we going to do to Underworld,
Hit and
Hargrim?
run, sprint, gutter runner.
I expect some
11, 10, 120.
11, 10, 120. Wow, we're hitting them hard.
Yeah.
But we just don't see that if we don't do that, they're going to be anything other than completely lethal. Now, a favourite of many people in Season 2 was the Vampires. They got some interesting changes. Every Hypno Gaze is a 3+ now. Doesn't matter if you're in 8 tackle zones, still a 3+. Some ways that's a buff, some ways it's a nerf. The amount of tackle around is going to help them a bit. They're a team that does love a quick dodge. The amount of just bashing things around is going to hurt them a bit, because they do have very vulnerable thralls, and even the vampires can disappear. But they're also a team at the moment that is dominating, doing really, really well.
There is one other
what happened
problem
in
with
Season 3?
vampires at the
What's
moment
that?
as well.
What's that?
The Hypno?
You can't declare a hypnotic gaze action
Yeah.
if you're on the floor.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
read all the justification for that, and my understanding of the rules is that is correct as they are currently written, yes.
Yeah. Again, FAQ needed. Please hurry up, GW.
My worry is that if you could declare it from the floor, can you also do it from the floor? But now they've separated declare and perform. That should be very solvable, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think there was a time when vampires were hypnoing things whilst not leaving the ground.
And then biting thralls and fetting pro rolls.
Yeah. Some crazy things. So, do we think vampires got helped or harmed? And what do we need to do to them in our tiering?
I think they got hurt quite, extremely.
They got better. They got better in situations that came up less.
Right.
Yeah. The top end of what they can do with Hypnogaze got better. The bottom end and bog standard stuff got much worse.
Yeah, I've even heard Talkamaster talking about possibly thinking the Vargeist and its ability to tank damage and just absorb hits might now be
Kalon.
No, sorry, Talkamaster, not Kalon.
I know, but Kalon has been playing that build for 2 years.
Yes, I know, but now it might be right. So now that they've changed it, he might be right.
He's a visionary.
Having played against a lot of Vargeist on Blood Bowl 3, because I never saw them in NAF, I've been a bit more impressed than I thought they was going to be.
Yeah,
they are. In one way, they're the best big guy in the game, right? They're they're strength.
They are the best big guy on the game.
Jesus.
If they
on the wrong team.
on vampire team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're even good on a vampire team. They just seem to do things that the vampire team in the main doesn't need done. But perhaps now that there's going to be a lot more hitting of things around, perhaps that ability to tank damage.
The hypno style play, they don't fit that walk in, take the ball and walk away style of play.
Well, I mean, they kind of can, because remember, you can hypno things off them so that they're free to move.
Oh yeah, but you can also.
But now it's 3+.
Hypno their target, and who cares if you say you're bloodless?
Yeah.
But that was a vampire bash team, which hasn't been played for 2 years.
Yes.
So
except by K-Lord, who, as we said, was playing them wrong.
You lovely draw with him at the formations.
Yes. Yeah. It's also because in Ireland, they're quite simple people. They just want to hit stuff.
We are.
It's fine. Eat their potatoes and pretend that the English are still horrible to them. It's just let them go on with it.
The English are French.
So, what are we going to do with vampires, Hargrim? We're near the final end of this stretch. Let's get there.
They're really tough for me.
They are, yeah.
I'm going to give them 1150.
I mean, 1150 still means they're going to be building with enough rerolls and enough vampires to be viable.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want 3 elite skills.
They need 2 dodge and at least 1 block, usually,
Yeah.
The rest is non-elite skills, so I think 160.
Yeah, so that basically gives them 3 elites and 3 non-elites and 10k spare. which they can do something fun and creative with. Yeah, that feels about right to me, I think. That's going to give them the standard vampire build as is now, and just let the nerves of the rule set deal with the fact that they were very, very strong. Which it seems to be doing for everything except Amazons, of course. Now, that brings us to something we've all mentioned a little bit in passing, which is the Wood Elves. Now, lots of Wood Elf coaches got very, very sad that having been at the top of the meta for Blood Bowl for a million years, and even with the changes in 2016, still basically staying at the top of the meta. And then in Season 2, Wood Elves weren't at the top of the meta anymore. They were possibly not even in the top 5, and there was much wailing and lamenting amongst the Wood Elf coaches. They were sad, and the rest of us were incredibly happy. And then they went off and coached lots of other things and did well with it, and then they all got bored and they came back to Wood Elves, and it turned out Wood Elves really weren't that bad after all, and once they started playing them properly, they were still in the top 5. They perhaps weren't top 3, but they were sort of rocking about 4th or 5th.
Turns out the nerf to leap wasn't as bad as they thought it was.
Yeah, it really wasn't at all. So, have they gone up or down from this position of being distraught and destroyed into maybe 4th place?
They are my dark horse as the best team in the game.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's going to
I-
make some
I-
people
they
very
got-
excited.
They got better.
Fiki,
They got better.
how
And
so?
they were a top 5.
You took 2 of my catches away. That was my pace and my dodge and my...
But they got cheaper. They got so much
And they
cheaper.
didn't shoot a war dancer.
Right.
They don't care about elite skills.
Yep.
Really.
Yep.
They four dodge. That's all you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already got 4,
elite
so I can
skill.
add 4 more, can't I?
Yeah.
So I can have 8 dodge still. That's a lot of dodge. Good.
I've been seeing the rosters with like 12 players and an Apo and 3 rerolls without leader.
Wow.
And also like that's just like I'm not willing to say it yet, but I think they are my dark horses. Actually, they might actually be the best team currently.
And with Sprint back on the catcher, of course, their one turn got even stronger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I say they've still got 2 war dancers, which are still the best players in the game, at least out the box.
And until we hear more about high elves, these are
can
going
now take hit and run.
Yeah.
Who can now hit and run.
Yeah.
Leap 3 times a turn.
Yeah.
Leap 3 times a turn, hit and run. Yeah. So you can have a natty war dancer with very little.
How
skills.
easy access does a war dancer get to steady footing if it's going to be leaping 3 times
It's
a
a
turn?
general skill.
General skill.
So really, really easy access to that too. Yeah, because I think, I mean, I've only recently, I always used to sort of nod and go, oh yeah. It was one of those things I didn't understand in life. Like when I was growing up in East Anglia, I thought DIS, instead of being a town, was a sort of dialing code. Instead of free phone, it was phone this, and I thought, well, no one lives in a place called DIS. Another thing I didn't understand what it meant was ward save. So despite being a gamer most of my life, when people went, no, ward save, I just went, oh yeah, ward save, yeah. Apparently what ward saves means is just a save for everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why not just an everything save? Why have I spent 30 years not understanding it because of the choice of the word ward in this very easy to understand concept? So when someone explained to me that steady footing was a 1 in 6 ward save, 2 things made sense to me. Firstly, what ward save means. And secondly, that's really bloody good, isn't it? A sixth of the time when you're falling over or knocked over, you're not. That sounds excellent.
People did the maths on steady footing and cage diving. 6+ dodge into a cage with a reroll, so dodge skill.
Yep.
Then you have a 6+ with a team reroll or something that you can team reroll. It's 51%.
So I now need a 6 and only one of 4 dice if I really need to get in there on a 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I have steady footing. Wow, that sounds like something I might find fun to do. People tell me I cave dice too much, and I say, well, I'm going to be dead soon, and then I won't be doing it anymore. So I've got to do lots of it now, or else I'll run out. Okay, so Wood Elf teams we think are good. We think they're better than other people think they are. We think they're going to be back towards the top. Are we giving them the full Amazon here?
Not
They don't
quite.
need
They need
anything
a
else.
tiny
give
bit more
them the
money
full.
than Zons.
Okay.
They
I
need
think
more
11,
money,
30, 120.
but they don't need any more skills.
No.
Right, so we're still being tough on the skills. We're giving them a little bit more money. Okay, so we've reached the end of our tiering. What have we learned? Because we do need to wrap this up and get on with everyone's lives.
Not playing
Jesus
Chaos Dwarf at Chess Bowl.
Yes, don't bring Chaos Dwarves to Chest Bowl. Look for an event where elite skills are not limited for them.
What I
Elite
learned,
skills are terrible.
Yeah.
What I learned is I knew BB Jock hated elite skills. I didn't realize how much he hated elite skills.
Oh, he really hates the concept of elite skills.
I think elite skills are a tool at our disposal. You will see them in some tournaments. You won't see them in others.
Yeah. I think one of the things we have proved tonight is that if you do limit them to 4 in total, there are 3 or 4 teams that it just makes pretty much unviable.
I've never found a rules pack that everything is viable.
No.
And then on other ones,
part of being at the better end of what we play is understanding how to read a rules pack and go, this is good and this is not.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the top players are looking for like 1, 2, 3% difference. So it might be that actually there's a group of teams that aren't bad, but they're not in that group that gives them that little edge that they need against the other good players.
Yeah. There's definitely teams that are punished by capping it.
Yeah,
we've had
previously top tier.
We saw this in Euro Bowl as well, though. Which was a different type of cap, but we saw this in Euro Bowl where some teams laughed and some teams hated it.
Yeah,
but people are used to 30 years of this is the order of teams, right? And that's essentially what it's doing. It's changing that order.
Yeah,
maybe it's making it a little too random for some people's liking.
I quite liked when this was announced and the games designer said, "What I'm looking to do is, we think the rules are solid." Some tweaks, but mostly the rules are solid. We think the meta is ossified, it's turned to stone. So we're just going to shake all the teams up. You'll understand the rules, but all the teams will be new. That'll be fun for you. Well, it turns out it took most people about a week to break the new teams and decide what was good and what was bad and how it should be coached. And it turns out they lied to us about the rules more or less staying the same. They've changed loads of them and created great holes in them that do need
it's
solving.
It's still Blood Bowl, right?
But it is still basically Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Most of the concepts have stayed the same. Most of the teams are very understandable. I don't see the panic. I really don't.
Everyone who played Kill Team or Horus Heresy with their new editions in the last year would have told you, and they said, "Oh no, we've not changed anything really." So the game, they changed way more than that made that sound. So when they said, "Oh, we've not changed much of Blood Bowl," I was like, "I'll believe it when I see it, but keep an open mind."
The underlying mechanics of Blood Bowl, they've changed a lot of how specific situations interact.
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment of appreciation because I'm a Horus Heresy player myself. The fact that this rule book was not written by AI like the Horus Heresy rule book was.
At the end of the day, like I've 30-something years playing Blood Bowl. This is one of the best books Games Workshop have ever written. That isn't the 2 rounds of Chaos supplements.
Now, is that damning indictment of Games Workshop or a praising of this particular rule set? I'm not sure.
So I was watching a video on the history of Warhammer, and there's a review of the first ever edition of Warhammer 40 odd years ago, and the review said, "Great rule set, so many typos."
Yeah,
and they apparently they took that as a badge of honor.
Would you? I mean, can you imagine, say, Wizards of the Coast or one of the big American gaming conglomerates regularly behaving as amateurly as we just expect Games Workshop to on a daily basis?
I've played D&D for 40 years, so yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. We will never get the games we deserve because we are the people we are, and the people that make those games are like us. So they're
one of the things I'm
hopeless
finding
too.
funny.
There's a really good question that Squirrel Dude came out with, which I just want to, because we do need to start wrapping up. So this is a nice closer as well. We pretty much started with this question, and we posed it as we went through, and I'm not sure we found any. His question was, are there any teams that can genuinely compete with Amazons?
OWA.
Okay.
They've got 2 tackle. They've got the super catch we talked about. They can have tackle mighty blow, so they can start chipping away at the Zons early, much quicker.
Yeah.
They've got a 1-turn option. They've got 2 different 1-turn options with the fling and with the catcher. So even if they do concede, they can still do a 1-turn. I would say OWA is 100% could compete with Amazons right now.
Hargrim, do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I think OWA and Amazons are definitely going to be tier 1.
Well, that's my second question. So they can compete with Amazons. Fiki, are you on side?
I think OWA can compete with Amazons, yeah.
So my next question is, if they can compete with Amazons, can they compete with the other 28, because Slan don't exist, rosters? Are OWA not only competitive with Amazons, but competitive against the whole meta right now?
I think they can now hold their own where they couldn't previously.
Yeah.
Right.
I think OWA's issue is going to be some of the stronger bashier teams, where Zons can just kind of keep their distance a bit easier because they've got the built-in dodge. the OWA can't. But I still think the OWA can definitely compete with those teams. They just will probably have a slightly harder time than Zons. But equally, I think Zons will struggle against a few teams which OWA will not struggle. Zons will have a harder matchup against some teams OWA won't.
Okay.
Zons will have a harder matchup
Hargrim,
against
same
certain
question.
teams they didn't have previously as well.
Yeah. Like I think I've actually found with the caveat a good vampire coach is actually quite hard for Zons to deal with because they will just keep hypnotizing a player and smashing a player every turn.
Yeah, not so much anymore with it working half as many times as it did.
Yeah, not so much anymore, but it's still something which, once you lose your skills, doesn't matter.
There'll be twice as many fails, not half as many successes, of course.
Yeah.
Hargrim, do you think OWA are going to be competing with Amazons at the top of the meta?
I think, just like BB Nut said, they're going to struggle against the stronger teams because unless they get a bunch of guard, they're really just not equipped to deal with the stronger
Now,
teams.
we weren't supposed to be having fun this episode. I did say that for things like a cool wall for the teams, we'll come back and do it another time and decide who's sexy and fun rather than who's good. But just for a brief ending point on our summation of teams, I want you to pick one team that if I was to ask you in 12 months' time as we approach the Christmas of 26, you think will be riding high at the top of the meta. The second team is the one that will have surprised people for where it is in the meta, for whatever reason you choose, higher or lower. And the third one is the one that's going to be right down at that bottom of the meta. Okay, so just 3 teams. Then it'll be the what have we forgotten to talk about, and then we will wrap up and go home. I think that's quite long enough for this podcast. So, who's got an answer that's ready for me on the 3 teams?
I think I'll start then.
Hargrim, I thought you'd be reliable. What is the team that's going to be at the top of the meta?
Orcs.
Oh, okay, there's a hot take. He didn't go with the Amazons. He didn't go with the Old World Alliance.
Those are too obvious. I think Orcs are going to be up there as well. Probably not as competitive, but probably around 3 or 4.
Okay. What's the team that's going to surprise people? And is it because it's done better or worse?
Yeah,
I think Khemri, actually.
Okay.
I think Khemri is going to come out of nowhere because a lot of people are going to pick up Khemri with the core box. They're going to start playing Khemri, and because of the slight changes to the roster, they're going to start performing slightly better. Plus, the whole secure the ball action thing helps them in certain situations.
And who's going to be shit?
I mean, if I have to pick something, I'd probably say one of the stunties, but that's no fun. So it's a bit of a hard question, but I think it's Khorne, unfortunately.
Okay. Fiki, you were struggling to restrain yourself at how wrong Hargrim was. So
I think,
what's up at the top of the meta?
That team that isn't going to perform where it should, right? It's Necro, because it's not going to be tiered right.
Okay.
People aren't going to give it what it needs to compete.
People are going to see all the buffs it got, so it's going to be up at the top of the meta, and that's
so
not enough for it to be
where people are expecting.
Okay, wow, that is a hot take. What is going to be up at the top of the meta?
I think we will see. I think teams that we don't expect today to be hard to do better than they are today. I think Knobs are going to do better than they are.
Okay.
I think they will consistently be seen in the top 10 in results. Is how I'd put it, right?
Interesting.
And then the bottom, I don't see dwarves competing anymore.
Okay, BB Nut, same 3 objectives. What's going to be up at the top of the meta?
I'm still thinking of the top, so maybe it's right. I'll do it the other way around.
Okay, who's at the bottom?
So the bottom, I can't think of a better option thing than Khorne. So I think I'm going to go. I think that's just boring if the same, actually. Now I've said it already. That's boring. What's going to be at the bottom? What's going to be at the bottom? Okay, no. I'll go for the team that's surprised because I think I'll go for the surprise team. I actually think dwarfs will be higher than everyone thinks they are. Now, I don't think.
Whoa, okay, there's a hot take.
I don't think they're going to be a top team. I think they're going to be around mid-table, maybe slightly more, just because they're armor 10 plus and they all come with bloody block.
All right, if this time in a year they're not in the bottom third, I'll buy you a beer.
100%. I'll tell
so
you.
You're saying they're in the middle third. I'm saying they will be in the bottom third.
I will. If they are in the bottom third, I'll buy you a beer. Basically.
And if they're both in the top third, we both run naked through the streets of London.
Okay, now I'm
Because
not
that's
so
just
much.
not going to happen, is it? It's just
No,
not.
okay.
That's just not a thing.
I don't know, PC. Now I'm really worried that someone's going to watch this and go, Jimmy Fantastic's come out of retirement and get
Okay,
dwarfed
if it's top
single-handedly.
10%, it's all off. If top 30%, it's all off. Top third, it's all off. Middle third, I owe you a beer. Bottom third, you owe me a beer.
The team at the top, I think I've kind of mentioned earlier. I honestly think Wood Elves are possibly the best team.
That
in
is
the
a
game
lovely
right
hot
now.
take. It's leaving me with
I
nothing.
Really do.
You've left
I
me
really
with
do.
nothing.
And then they just, I'm just getting flashbacks like the 2000 to 2010 Blood Bowl, where every tournament was it's two Wood Elves on the top table.
Yep.
Of course, there's two Wood Elves on the top table, and I'm just looking at the roster, and I'm looking at how everyone else got worse around them, and this nerf doesn't feel too bad.
Right, and for my hot take, and then you've left me so little. All the ones I was going to mention are already gone. I'm going to go with goblins for my not as good as people think they're going to be. And I love me some goblins, and I know they got some boosts, but they're still goblins. At the end of the day, they're still goblins. And I still expect them to goblin some stuff up. And people will soon learn how to avoid a chainsaw that dodges into your cage. And that's also an incredibly expensive chainsaw that's still very easy to take out. People will learn defences to the Doom Diver, or they will kill it beforehand, or they'll be so far up that it doesn't matter. I still think goblins are going to be, they're probably going to be maybe the second best stunty only to snotlings, but I still think they're going to struggle more than people think. Who's going to be unexpectedly down the bottom? We've had all the other ones. I want to say I think it's going to still be, I'm going to say it. I don't think Nurgle are as boosted as people think. I think they're going to be incredibly annoying and frustrating. I think they're going to get, in a 6-game tournament, they're going to get maybe 1 win, 3 draws, and 2 losses. They're going to get a lot of draws. They're not going to get enough wins, and they are going to get some losses. It doesn't need to go very wrong. And again, that board is gone. And although
I can see them getting over-tiered.
Yeah, I can see them just grinding slowly forwards. But one mistake, one gap, ball's gone. No way to recover it. I don't think.
They can ruin someone's weekend.
Who is going to be better than we think? I mean, I've kind of given it away in that I think actually on win percentages, humans are not going to be as desperately hurt as people think. I said that earlier on, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
I still think people will take Old World Alliance instead, because why the hell wouldn't you? But I think with 2 actually move 8, dodge, you can put block on them, so blodge, move 8 humans. You've basically got 2 war dancers. Who worries about the agility? So I think that's going to be incredible, and it's going to open up some new plays for humans being quite fast. They've still got throw, teammate options. They've still got incredibly good linemen. I don't think they've been hurt as much as people think. So those are my hot takes. Anything we haven't talked about you want to mention before we wave and say goodbye? We've been here for 1,000,000 hours. This is the longest it's ever been, but some really good work done tonight. Thank you for it. BB?
I just quickly wanted to cover, you said about Wizards of the Coast doing as bad a job as GW.
Yes.
Now, Blood Bowl 3 is it's probably the computer game I've got most invested in. I've since gone back to playing Cyanide games and Helldivers in my spare time. The amount of fuck-ups those guys are also doing, it gives me a lot of faith. Actually, we might be in for this. Might just be normal now for computer games.
Yeah, they've simultaneously got huge and overly expensive and incredibly,
everything's released as a live beta, right? It's
pretty much. At the same time, something in the soul of computer games was lost from the days of, things like Gremlin graphics. Or a little computer game about a mole running through, saving the world could be made in someone's bedroom. Yeah. By a team of 2 people and could take over the world. Or the original Worms. Or the original Minecraft. And look at the huge industry it spawned. But these were indie games made in people's bedrooms. And there's something missing from the AAA games. A soul, a heart. I don't know. I'm not sure it's there in BB3. But maybe it will be in Warhammer Blood Bowl. Hargrim, fiki, anything to say before we wrap up?
Fiki, you go first.
I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking forward to playing with how we can make these events interesting while we're still learning what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I hated the look of the Welsh one, but then I saw some ones where they'd started, as I said, pricing elite skills at twice the price of a non-elite skill. I hated that too. So I think there's going to be a lot of rule sets we all hate this year, and some experiments that we all think that may not work, but we go anyway. So take one for the team, take one for Blood Bowl sometimes. Give it a go. tell people all about your experience, because that's how we'll all learn collectively what is and isn't working. Don't be ashamed to write a blog, write a post on a Discord even. Just a couple of paragraphs saying what the rule set was like and how you felt about it. We're not just here trying to show off that we know stuff about teams, because as you probably worked out as we went through, I really don't. One of the goals of tonight was genuinely to demystify the fact we're all living in uncertain times. The new tournament organizer packs that people are putting out are a variety of things, from completely untiered to gain a baseline, and that's really valuable. Even if you will face, a lot of Old World Alliance and Amazons, it's still really valuable stuff. Do it. Play that Blood Bowl. And a lot of it will have some weird grids where people think, yes, they need money, but they don't need skills, or they need skills, but they don't need money. And this one needs to be, 50 more than this one. And we're going to see a lot of lower rule sets in terms of the money. Don't let it worry you. Change doesn't have to be wrong. We don't have to try and recreate what we had. We don't have to take this new rule system and say, how do we make it like Season 2? What we need to do is find what works in Season 3 and what's fun. And that should be a journey. It shouldn't be a journey backwards. So I hope this has helped you look forward to a whole new set of working out what the hell that rule set is and why, and some explanation as to where things might be moving around and why. Why maybe even a stunty might suddenly need to be tiered like an Amazon team, because otherwise, who knows what it's going to do to you. That was One World, One Blood Bowl number 71, Fears for Your Tears. Wave and say goodbye helps me find it in the edit. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a really, really long one, but sometimes the subject determines the length. We'll see you soon with another episode. Thanks very much. Bye.